Ah, there's an AoE immediately I have to fucking dodge. You assholes. I'm not okay with this.
Okay. I might have to edit some of that out.
Oh no.
Well, it's because you said you were starting the button, and then the next word out of your mouth was the F-bomb.
Well, that's...
YouTube gives us a little bit of slack, but literally before 1 second has passed, at least on the audio, is probably not enough slack. So we might have to work on that, cut around that.
Well, that's what happens when you put an AoE immediately when I'm not ready.
Correct. That is in fact what happened. Okay, so I had to cough it out because I had a hearty chuckle there. Hi, welcome to What's Up. I make it. He's lucky. He's being hit with an AoE.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome to What's Up number Herberter.
Herberter.
AKA State of Play. That's... I thought of that pun earlier this week, and I'm going to stick with it.
Do it.
I could make another control pun, but maybe I'll do that at some point. All right, so before we go anywhere and do anything, other than the fact that obviously in the video version, I'm sure Lucky is in fact going somewhere and doing something right now. But ignore that, I can't see it. But I'm going to tell you that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Alan DeHarp, Ahaka Comics, Arctic Ten, Lucas G, Carlos Qua, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Callie Den, Legendary Logan, Tesla, Raptor, Road Robert, Shining Beast, and Random Bob, so there's over the site, you can read. If you like what we do, want to see more considered nature, and you can access episodes early on, so we're going to this out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
Alright. Double check all the stuff I got. Open matters. Yes, it does. It's important. Okay. Why would you bring up something that nobody cares about? Just don't. Nobody cares. More people on the internet need to learn that lesson. Sorry, this has been an ongoing thing with live chat. And I think that people just need to not. If nobody cares, nobody cares. Just stop. Don't do it. Get some help.
Well, unfortunately, there's also the actual opposite side of that where people care entirely way too much.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with a little bit of that over the past week.
Sometimes you can be like that. But okay, so well, we should have a healthy show for you. Probably not as long as last week's, but that's because we're not going to go in like a full deep dive of a game yet. But we have a couple of different topics. Obviously, from the title, there was a I put my microphone on. I'm playing Arknights right now, guys. There's an event for once. It involves lizardmen, and they yell about thick tails and jungles and stuff. But also, I don't know why the generic lizardmen are just crocodile dudes, like they're in frickin' Crash Bandicoot or something. Mm-hmm. But all the girls naturally are just cute women, but they also have lizard tails. Shameless sexual dimorphism on the part of the Arknights developer, who aren't even Japanese. You can't even say they're Japanese about it. Anyway, there was a State of Play, which, while short, did talk about a lot of stuff. And because of some news that was there were also some alternate announcements that came out about things that are cool.
Very cool.
So we can talk about that. Also, Lucky and I have both been playing Control, actually, this week. So I actually have opinions about Control that I can foment to you as well.
Uh-oh.
And we could also, like I said, talk about some gacha stuff. I'm like on map 2 of the Arknights event, so other than the fact that I did actually get the new 6-star operator fairly quickly, it only took me my one real 10 pull to get her. That's nice. That's all I know about what's going on with Arknights right now. Other than that, some people in our Discord are still animals and just feel the need to post the entire fucking story in spoiler channel. Yes, you are being called out. You know who you are. You're literally the only one. Why are you like this? Anyway. So, yeah, we could talk about some stuff, though.
Oh, but, well, I guess the question is, where do we begin?
I haven't actually checked in Azure, so I don't know if my luck with 10 spins is going any better. That was yesterday I did Azure Lane stuff. Today I'm doing Arknight stuff. I mean, we can talk about that briefly, I guess. Azure Lane, people like that. How's your Azure Lane experience so far, Lucky? You got stuff? You got new things?
Yeah, I think I got like 3 out of 4 of the new limited build-only ships so far. And I want them all because, again, Lucky's all about that Iron Blood aesthetic, and the Northern Parliament is that same aesthetic, except it's ice and blue. Like, yes, no good. Not to mention, as usual, they're fucking horny on main, and titties are trying to escape their confines. Just everywhere.
Yes. A lot of the horny energy.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful.
But yeah, okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I don't know. Where do you think? Now that we've used up about 5 minutes of our time on that, where do you think we should start? Should we talk about controller? Should we talk about State of Play?
Let's talk about State of Play and everything that came out of that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna start with State of Play, and then that's gonna go into Final Fantasy Remake and other peripherals. And then
that's true, because they did. Not only did they have RE7 Remake news at State of Play, they also had a lot of additional news that came out after they announced stuff. So yeah, we can go there.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll probably, knowing how we'll probably bounce around a little bit, land on Pokemon, because they also had some announcements in the sphere.
They had a stream. It exists.
It exists. And from there, we'll probably talk Go to Control. That's how I see this conversation running around.
That's fair enough.
Ooh. But yeah, so when was it? Thursday?
Yeah, I think it was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. So Thursday we had a State of Play. It was at 2 Pacific Standard Time, if I remember correctly, and it only ran for a half hour. They were upfront about it. It's like, yo, this is only going to be a half hour. So a lot of people.
It was very short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Though I gotta be real, I do think that even when they knew they were doing it short, they could have shaved it down to 20 minutes. There were some trailers that don't need to be in these fucking presentations anymore.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm really not gonna lie. I'm sick of Deathloop. I'm sick of seeing it. I really am.
No, yeah. Hey, the new thing they did was cool. It was like a cinematic trailer. It had like an opening song. It was very Bond opening, right?
Yeah, it was very Bond. It's no Snake Eater, but it was still very Bond.
Guys, Arcane. Seriously, guys, fucking stop. If people are giving you more money to do marketing, tell them you don't need it. Put it to, like, finishing the game sooner or something. Like, stop it. Get some help. There's nothing to be learned in these trailers about your game. You loop, you kill guys. Do not do, like, I think there's, like, 7 targets I remember from an earlier expository trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do 7 different trailers about the 7 different dudes I need to kill. We get it. You go back in time, you kill people. The sassy lady is trying to kill you and sets you back. You have, like, a cool jazzy aesthetic. You're like Bioshock, but 70s-er. 70s and 80s-er. We fucking get it, okay? Just release your goddamn game. Yeah, like you, Lucky. Like, I'm still gonna get Deathloop probably, unless it comes out and it sucks shit, because it might. You never know.
It might. It's Bethesda.
It's true, and we are at a point where they are continuing to release nothing burger trailers. Just like, hey, it's a trailer. You do stuff. I'm like, I know that I do all this stuff. There's nothing new here. Did you make a new trailer just to show me you made an original song called Deathloop? Don't. Just release the song or something.
It was a good song.
Be like XCOM when they released those like 3 Dr. Valen remixes. Come on, be careful when using explosives. Explosive. It's great. Just do that. Do that instead. You'll do better.
Do better.
What was the other one that I was like, okay, you're not really teaching me anything new? There was like one more trailer that
there
felt like
was.
more redundant. I've forgotten it now, I think.
Hang on. Well, hang on. Let me pull up here. Let's pull up.
Number 1 was Crash Bandicoot 4. They're doing a PS5 version. It looks better. That's about what you can expect out of those. I don't think that was really anything new, but there was at least a guy talking about the fact that
it was Oddworld Soulstorm. That's the other one.
Ah, yes, that's right. Oddworld Soulstorm, the game that still doesn't exist, but we keep showing you the same fucking shots over and over again. Yeah, that's another one of those where I'm like, okay, guys, I know you were supposed to be a launch title. You've been delayed. It's cool. Just stop, maybe? Like, if you don't have anything new to say, don't say anything. This is... I gather anyway, because you said we're gonna talk about Pokemon later, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to say, like, even if you don't have the same, if you have a release date, you can show me all the weird ass trailers you want, because then you have given me information that I want at the end of it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like that counts as having something to say, because obviously you can't like block up a marketing slot and just be like, I mean, there are some games that are just like, here's a Twitter post of a black image with white text, here's our release date. But like, you need a little bit more fanfare than that. But for the most part, if you have nothing new to say, don't say anything. Like, again, so this is apparently, I guess, I don't know, this is, Lucky probably won't have any commentary about this either, but apparently this is people's problem with Pokemon Sword and Shield, a game that I played fully and find perfectly enjoyable, and I need you to shut the fuck up about how bad it is. It's not bad. I'll fight you. I'll literally stab your parents. Sorry, there's been just, like we said, because of the Pokemon stream, there's been a wave of this, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. I don't care that Game Freak, quote-unquote, lied to you, but, like, this is where people get this kind of stuff, is when you just make, again, what I call nothing burger trailers, where just you say nothing of substance and people get mad later that you don't name check that thing you said once in a trailer. Like, just don't. we like transparency, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing transparent if there's. Yeah, actually, that's a good one. So transparency is like a window, right? If there's nothing outside the window but the fucking fog of night, it doesn't matter that there's a transparent window. Put a painting there instead. I don't know.
Something. We'll come up with something.
Just, it's one of those things that's like so redundant and it bothers me. But I'm a Pokemon fan, devilish, and I love Pokemon. Maybe it's because I didn't get burned out and I never played any of the 3DS games that are supposedly infinitely better or whatever, except everybody yells about Sun and Moon, so I don't even know what games are better. What games are better, people? What do you want from me?
Oh man, where was that tweet I fucking found of fandoms and how they react to stuff, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna find it. Hang on.
That's definitely a Pokemon thing. I think I've seen a similar tweet. I don't know if it was the exact one you're thinking of, but like, it's
like how they had all these Nintendo franchises, and Nintendo is at the bottom with Smash, saying it's all like they are never happy, no matter how much. They're gluttonous masses that are never happy, no matter how much you give them, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah,
like, I'm not gonna be like having, you know, people blah 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 the comparison, and there was a smaller Pokedex in Sword Shield straight up. I know that. Like, I'm not gonna throw any stones and say that they're not, like, they haven't ever like shortchanged a game or anything. But for a Switch Pokemon, it was perfectly functional. It had cool Pokemon in it, and I liked it, and it had some really interesting concepts, and it wasn't overly grindy about tutorial stuff. I still haven't played the DLC. I'll get to it sometime maybe this year. But like, I don't fucking know. That's like with like Sun and Moon. That's all I heard was people talk about. Oh, there it is. Legendary Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Wait. Yes. Gluttons who not be satisfied with all the riches in heaven. Yes, that was the exact tweet.
So let me actually pull this image up. Because one of their tiers is the dead do not trouble the living. Very accurate. Advanced Wars, Elite Beat Agents, and Punch-Out. Yes, those guys are just dead.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Generally Pleasant with Donkey Kong Country, Kirby, Splatoon, and Super Mario Brothers. And I'm like,
they're just happy to be here.
Yeah. Quietly Tolerable with Kid Icarus, Rhythm Heaven, Yoshi's Island, Luigi's Mansion, and WarioWare. Bitter but Righteous with Golden Sun, Mario Luigi, and I can't remember to read that. Wario Land. And I'm definitely in that because I love Golden Sun. I played all three of the ones that they have, and they still have a fourth game that just vanished into nothing. I'm just like, nah.
Played a little bit of I had some friends who were super into it, but that was back in the OG days, you know. It was Game Boy Advance. It's like, unless you can trade a cartridge, you gotta go like track down at a Walmart. And the dark days before everybody knew how to use Amazon, and I had my own debit card, guys.
Youth.
Let's see. So next is Defensive Fanatics, Metroid, Pikmin, Xenoblade Chronicles, also tracks.
Yeah, also tracks.
They're hardcore, but they're defensive. Consumed by Spite, Fire Emblem, and Zelda. Correct.
Well, yeah, no. Like, I'm definitely a Zelda fan, and well, me personally, I kind of take things in stride. I'm like, it gets there when it gets there.
Yeah, but like Zelda and Fire Emblem, news or lack of news, are always somebody is spicy about it.
Yeah,
right? Like we saw that with Skyward Sword. We also saw with the fact that there were no Fire Emblem announcements in that direct. Right? Like, people were sassy. More Beasts Than Men, F-Zero, Mother, Paper Mario. I don't really know about F-Zero. Like, as a guy who loved the OG F-Zero, I'm like, I think it's cool, but also I'm like, did they make any more? I don't know. I don't care. They don't exist. Whatever. People are definitely that way about Mother, though.
Oh, yeah, I know.
AKA Earthbound.
They will not be quiet. You cannot silence
And then, like
them.
we said, Pokemon, Smash, and Animal Crossing are in the gluttons who would not be satisfied with all the riches of heaven. probably true. Like, I feel like Animal Crossing people are, like, mellowed out, at least that their game exists and is an infinite loop of debt they will never escape. But they definitely get feisty about, like, Animal Crossing peeps were definitely feisty before the Switch Animal Crossing was announced, right?
Right.
Like, every time there was a direct, it was, is there going to be a fucking Switch Animal Crossing? This is from 2020, by the way. Damn, this is from, like, October last year. I love it. I'm going to retweet it right now. But, yeah, no. Like, the Pokemon guys are, like, really agita-y. But we were talking about State of Play. We'll talk more about Pokemon later.
Yeah.
So those were, I think, our two big fucking nothing, right?
Right.
The first one was Crash. That's also mostly nothing, but like I said, at least they talked about the fact that they're doing a PS5 update. It's coming. It'll have some stuff in it. It'll be a free upgrade, I think, like most of them are. It exists. And I think it is good that they are paying lip service to these kinds of upgrades because they know that PS5 inventory is, like, only slowly growing. They're only slowly getting out to people, so they're like, hey, don't worry. Did you get it on the PS4? It'll be okay. You can play the PS5 version soon. It's nice.
It's nice.
Next, I believe they showed off Returnal. They showed some actual, like, for real gameplay footage this time, which was good. Did they have a release date on Returnal?
I think they said it was this summer.
I don't remember an exact date, but I do believe, yeah, they said it would be this year.
Did I?
But you get a free upgrade. That's why it's fine, Devilish. You get a free upgrade if you buy that PS5. Quote-unquote free. Anyway, but yeah, so we saw some gameplay of Returnal. We also saw some more, like, actual concrete stuff about the world we're looking at, which is apparently, like, even more freaky and Lovecraftian than you'd think.
Yes, that's right. It was it's April 30th on PS5.
April 30th. Yeah, it's sooner than you'd think. No.
Yeah.
Very spicy.
Spice.
But yeah, so they showed, like, I got some real, like, Alien and Prometheus. Well, yeah, that I think I expect. Like, they are actually making Remake free on PS Plus soon. Is it this month upcoming?
Yep, it's next month.
Okay. Yeah, it is the March one. Which is cool for them, but also, like, I understand why it doesn't have the free upgrade, because it's like a double free game. That would be like free on free. That'd be a little weird. I expect they'll probably make the PS5 version free at some point in the future, right? Like, probably when the sequel to that one's coming out, right? They'll make the first one free so you can get in on the ground floor. But for now, I think it makes business sense for them to be like, okay, we want you to play this on the 4, but we can't give you the free. That would be silly. We want you to pay for this game, and Square Enix wants you to pay for this game. But yeah, Returnal looks cool. I'm a little worried because it looks like it's a little bit more hardcore, like roguelike than I was thinking. I know that we're gonna have the loot, but, like, at least in the trailer, they really played to the, like, ooh, it's super hard, you're gonna die, and everything resets, and I'm like, oh no, I don't actually like that, though. As a guy who's currently playing Control, it gives me bad feels.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna have to, like, see some people play this game maybe and see, like, how hardcore it is. Because if it's, like, really deep in there, I'm like, no, I don't know. Unless it also has super ultra baby mode, like I realized Control does. I hadn't looked at the assist mode features, but some of them are dumb. But yeah, so Returnal's cool. What was number? Was it Oddworld? I think Oddworld was. And we.
I don't think I have a direct. Well, yeah, no, dude, no. Next was Sifu, the intense kung fu experience.
Right. Yeah, that was a world premiere announcement.
Yeah, no, Sifu. I was like, is this the fucking raid?
Yeah, it was basically Raid or the Daredevil hallway scene from the Daredevil Netflix show.
Yeah.
It looked fucking rad, because, like, you start as a young dude, and you beat up a bunch of dudes in the hallway, and then you die or lose or whatever, and then he gets slightly older, and it's just, like, you see this character, like, get even more old and grizzled and kung fu-y. At one point, it looks like you fight, like, one of your students who looks just like you, kind of a thing. Like, I'm like, I don't know what this game is about, but it looks fucking rad.
Yeah, I know. I'm about it. Now, next up on the list was they did Knockout City again. This time without the cringy, Fortnite rip. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and honestly, having just a trailer where just a developer talked about the game, like, I'm still not super sold, but I did like Dodgeball as a kid, and Dodgeball is a very funny movie film. So I'm like, If it was like PS Plus free, I wouldn't say no, you know?
Yeah,
But,
well, it might be like I got Destructions All Star on my PS5. I'm like, I keep thinking maybe I should try this, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to play this right now.
yeah, but like it looks okay. It's just the Switch cut of the trailer was like super cringy. I guess it was because they think Switch is for babies, whereas PlayStation 5 is clearly for adults who have jobs. So they handled the marketing in two completely different ways in two completely different markets, and I preferred the Sony one.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, but it's a game that exists, so I'm not gonna fuss about it too much. So,
so after that was the people at Annapurna, I can't remember the name, but Solar Ash, you know, artistic, glidey.
yeah,
It's like
the people who made Hyper Light Drifter.
There you go.
Solar Ash looks rad. It looks exactly like the game you'd expect from those people, and it looks fun. It's all about high-speed platforming and fighting. Got a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus vibes in there when you fight these like super giant creatures. But otherwise looks a lot like. Basically, it looks like they looked at Breath of the Wild and were like, okay, what if we made this like Cyberpunk and like 5 times as fast?
I don't know. I say I throw some Journey influences in there as well.
Yeah, Journey. Because Journey's got a very stylized look as well, which again, like it's by those guys. It's a very stylized looking game as well, also. But yeah, it's definitely like, ooh, you got a big open expansive thing where you do some tchotchkes to escape the black hole of death, and also just go fast, eat ass. So it looks interesting to be sure. I like my classic.
I love this one because when you're watching, because this one, Omega was really like, oh no. So they revealed the first gameplay revealed for Five Nights at Freddy's, the security breach. Now I'm not gonna say this looks like a AAA game, but they put some fucking work into this.
They have definitely upped their production value for Five Nights stuff, and it looks pretty interesting because it's no longer you're stuck in a room. It's I mean, I gotta be honest, you're a little kid, it's probably a running simulator like Amnesia or, what's the game with the king? There's two, I've completely forgotten the name. Outlast, yes, thank you, Lucky. Yeah, it looks unfortunately like it's gonna be like big, like, Outlast or Amnesia vibes, which is, we've talked about before, is not our style of game, to be sure. I mean, it makes sense, at least in this case. You're a fucking little kid, little baby child called Gregory, and you're fighting evil animatronics. Evil, sexy 80s animatronics. I want to point out that was a deliberate design choice that was made to accentuate these like. I say this not as like, oh, some people are gonna be like, oh, is Omega think animatronics are sexy? No. I have seen the OG designs, which people did sexualize, and that was weird. But
I remember
like,
those days.
This is definitely like looking at the new of these. I'm like, no, you've turned a dial here. This is a deliberate design choice. Why have you done this? Is it because it's the 80s? I don't know. Big 80s vibes, by the way, from this. This is like the area that Security Breach is set in looks like what kids in like the 80s and 90s thought Chuck E. Cheese should have been, and it was not. Like, it's a massive fucking mall with a huge play place. But no, I started Oh No, as Lucky described, because they start with just the creepy rabbit animatronic face and just slowly zoom in. I'm just like, nope, it's not okay. It's a danger zone. There's a full danger zone there. And then they slowly reveal the designs, and you're like, oh yeah, this is Security Breach. I'll watch other assholes play it and scream like little babies, but I don't think it's for me. Like I said,
it seems like it might have a good story and stuff. It looks like there's a bunch of interesting things. There's things happening in development. It's not just you.
Yeah, they're iterating, which is very important.
Yeah, like I said, there's like another character. There's like a security guard. There's a security guard in there who's maybe trying to help you, but you're separated. Shoot, I remember.
Yeah, you do have a what people would call a voice of the internet connection. She's like yelling at you about stuff.
Yeah. And then, like, fuck, I remember in the original trailer, like, it sounded like maybe there was an animatronic that maybe was on your side or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they had a distorted voice. And there's definitely, like, there's the core Freddy Fazbear type crew, but then there's also, like I said, the Weird Bunny one. There was also, like, it looked like, what do they call him? Was it Springtrap? The like, one more thing in the trailer. as the security guard lady is like, "There's more going on here than you believe." Like a really beat up animatronic claw arm like scratches the floor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it seems like there's going to be some layers to all this normal shenaniganery.
Yeah. So that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I'll want to watch other people play. Like I said, I don't know if actually playing it is for me.
Yeah,
Who knows?
no.
Maybe I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, I could do that. Maybe it'll give me a heart attack, like Alien Isolation, which is a game that I actually like to play. I just cannot play for long periods of time because I'll die.
You'll die. Let's see here.
Okay.
Next one is technically Oddworld Soulstorm.
Skip.
He says skip, but I've always been interested in the Oddworld games because Oddworld was one actually of the first PlayStation 1 games I ever played. Unfortunately, I was a small child at the time. I didn't understand what the fuck I was doing at all. So I always kind of it's one of those.
It is a, what do they call it? It's like a puzzle platform, right?
Yeah. Like I said, and apparently like this game, it got story, and I said this game has seemingly been in development for an eternity. Jesus. But when it comes out,
to be fair, I do think a lot of people were scared by how it went for Cyberpunk. Like that gave a lot of people the agita about, oh shit, we can't release our game anytime this millennium if it's gonna be bad. Fuck. No, to be fair, I think thanks to the hack, I think people have finally turned the corner a little on CD Projekt Red of like, oh.
No. There's no people are still on it because now they're complaining that fucking CD Projekt Red wasn't like upfront with that and saying maybe that personal information wasn't lost. No, trust me, I keep up on these things, and no, people are still finding reasons to be mad at CD Projekt Red.
Fuck them. You know what? I'm not affiliated with CD Projekt Red in any way. I say we should throw all of you in a pit and cover you in concrete. Burning concrete. Fuck you. Shut up about it.
Jesus.
Listen, if they want to feel like somebody's going to come to their house and shoot them, which Cyberpunk did not do, it did not steal your kneecaps, all right? It didn't kick your dog, I'll fucking fight them. I'll kick your dog. I'll break your kneecaps. Come at me, internet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired of this horseshit. Anyway.
Well, again...
This is just, like I said, the Pokemon thing's exaggerated, but in general, I feel like as a person, I've reached a stage in my life where I am just over people who treat a quote-unquote bad game release, like I said, like these game developers fucking, killed your mom in the dark of night, or like threw your dad off a cliff or something while shouting about long live the king or whatever. Like, fucking get over yourselves, guys. If you want a villain, I'll be your villain. Fuck it.
Wow. Oh... I think we'll move on from that. But after this, something that both me and Omega are super excited about. They showed more gameplay and story details for Kina, Bridge of Spirits. It's super adorable, but also at the same time looks like might be super dark too. I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm getting some classic the Studio Gibbs vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and the fact that the art style also looks literally like a Pixar movie.
It really does. Let's see. I know they. What they say, was it August 22nd or August 24th?
Yeah, somewhere in there. That reminds me, I need to check Amazon if Amazon will let me put in a wish list yet. They did not have a listing for it when I checked. Because, boy, howdy, when they give a release date, I was spamming to put it in a wish list. Because that's a game I am about.
Let's see here. They have...
If I can find an Amazon listing, it will list the release date.
Oh, neat.
No, it is still not here. Amazon, what are you doing? Buy crap like Outriders.
Oh, you can put little hats on the fucking little spirit things.
It's adorable. We need more hats.
Need more hats. I'm trying to figure out where the fucking... Well, I know this has a release date. It says pre-orders are available now, and it's this summer. So if I remember correctly, it said it was like August 22nd, which is like a day before.
August 20-something. It's a little bit of ways, but
it's right around my birthday.
Hey, considering that it was like surprise announced, I think the last time they had a State of Play, I have seen more trailers for Deathloop and Oddworld than this game, but this game has a release date, so.
Also, interesting enough, it looks like the standard edition is only gonna be $39.99.
Ooh, probably means it's a shorter game then.
Yeah.
That's okay though. Like we're experiencing a wide variety of video game price points at this stage. We'll talk more about that a little later too, because I think that's important. Other stuff that got announced at the end, but yeah, that's it's interesting.
Yep. Like I said, after this, we've
Oh,
talked.
actually, no, that does remind me. There is one bit of news about Oddworld I think that matters.
What?
Didn't they say that when it comes out, it's going to be no extra cost for PS Plus members?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little weird, but they've reached a state where, like, this game will be free if you have PS Plus, which that actually seems interesting and neat. I do hope the developers, like, get their due out of it for their game to be released immediately as free, but that's something interesting to do with all this hype level, right? And I think competes with some of the stuff that Xbox does with Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay, so Kino Bridge of Spirits is still all about that. Looks... they should call it Kino Bridge of Spirits. If you guys don't know, Kino is, I believe, the German word for cinema. So it's an internet slang for something that's, like, super aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I remember when Kino was being used a lot. But after that, we already bitched about it. Deathloop.
Like I said, no shame to... Well, a little bit of shame to Deathloop, but, like, they made an original song, they did some fun animation stuff, but also this felt like the trailer you see playing on, like, TVs in GameStop and Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
For, like, you know, after this game is already out or it's about to come out next week, not a, like, we don't have any details on the release date here, we're at a State of Play kind of trailer.
Yeah.
It seemed like a little bit of a stall for time, which was weird because I felt like Sony was going for... arguably, they're going a different direction than Nintendo Direct, right? Like, Direct was, we have an hour, we're gonna use up every second of that hour to show whatever trailers we feel like, right?
Yeah.
Whereas State of Play is like, no, listen, you're here for big titles, trailers, news, trailers, deep dives. We're gonna talk about, like, 6 things, and we're gonna have actual news about most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, you know, still, listen, it's by Arcane. I fucking loved This looks like it's gonna be my, you know, baby prey sequel. At least spiritually, so, you know, I will play Deathloop. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
As is lucky. So what was next?
So this is the last thing. Because I said this was only a half hour.
Okay, so what, I was trying to think. Was there one more thing before the one more thing?
No. This is the last thing. So last thing was we got the Final Fantasy VII remake news. This was actually leaked, I believe a bit earlier, but yes,
Some of the titles they announced were copyright leaks, right? Like,
yeah.
Like Square blocked out the copyrights for this stuff, but nobody knew the exact details of all the stuff that was going to come out, I think.
Yeah, so now they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, which is basically the PS5 version of it. And it gets the usual, you know, the PS5 glow up, increased load times, better frames, better lighting, lens flare for fucking days.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, they showed the difference on screen, and, you know, I played it on my 4. I think the game really looked beautiful. Like, we talked about how, you know, every frame of painting and all that. But there were, you know, areas where you had to wait a second for the textures to load in, you know. And with the PS5 technology, they definitely showed, like, they can get more reflections, more particle and fog effects and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, they can make it go that extra mile for their vision or whatever, which is cool. And interesting, I think, that wasn't what they led with. What they led with was they shocked the fuck out of everybody, I think, by announcing Yuffie DLC.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Extra chapter featuring Yuffie? Like, I don't think they had a fancy name for it.
I don't think so.
Because it is a bonus chapter, I'm sure it will have a cool name when it comes out, but they didn't give any details. But basically, it looks like this happens between... What chapter is it when you fall in the church? Is it like 10?
Well, it's your whole era, Cloud's era chapter, and apparently Yuffie and her Kohai are in fucking Midgard doing Wutai spy shit.
Yeah. And it looks like they're leaning heavily into the aspects that are alluded to in the remake but don't go anywhere yet, where they talk a lot about the Wutai War, about the different branches of Avalanche and stuff. And it also kind of explains why Yuffie would be on this continent for later stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck is she here? This is literally the farthest place away from her hometown. In game map terms. But yeah, they showed off Yuffie. They showed off her associate. Was it Sunon?
It was something like that.
He's a staff guy. They have combo attacks. Yuffie does ninja stuff. Her combos look sick.
They do look sick.
And obviously all of her animations are like, you know, ninja-y. She can run on walls and like dashes across pipes and stuff. But yeah, this basically takes place when Cloud has disappeared for a little bit after he fell off, and Barrett and Tifa are looking for him, and Yuffie comes to town, and she thinks about talking to Avalanche because they both want to take down the Shinras, but apparently some of her associates in town, or like I said, her buddy there, are like, now we can't talk to those guys, they blow up reactors. That's too wild for us, Wutai, who fought a war against Shinra.
Well, to be fair, that means
we'll get into it, I think, in the DLC, right? Like,
well, yeah, but I think that's fun because, like I said, the blowing up reactor was hot and fresh. That means they're immediately, you know, public enemy number one. Not exactly who you want to be associating with, you know, on the like, down low.
Because Yuffie, and the way Yuffie phrased it is like, should we go say hi? And her friend is like, nah, I don't think that's a great idea right now. It's not a good idea. Nah. But it kind of builds up, I think, the smart ideas of like, wow, you guys are jumping ahead so much. Christ, this trailer was like 5 minutes. Yes, the Moogle hoodie was super cute. That was a great reveal because she's in like a hood, like, and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's Yuffie, and then she nearly falls off and dies, and you're like, that's definitely Yuffie.
Yeah, that was lucky.
Adorable. It's great. I want it. But anyway, it looks like they are definitely going to, like, not only are they going to fill that time that you only saw as Cloud a little bit, but they're doing the smart thing, I think, and building up a relationship with Yuffie because timeline-wise, she should show up fairly early in whatever form the sequel takes, development of which is ongoing. Talked about that.
I think it's a kind of a funny parallel, because for those, well, I'm pretty sure that most of you who listen to this know, but since Yuffie was an optional character in 7, I think it's interesting that they're making her debut basically an optional DLC.
Yeah. And they're keeping the same theme where she's still not in the main events of the core game yet, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think this is a good thing for them to set up her character, introduce her to people who are playing 7 for the first time, and also kind of, like I said, kind of like bridge the gap to the next episode when she shows up and she actually has a reason where she could be like, oh, hey, you guys are Avalanche. You guys blew up the reactor. You guys didn't all die when they crushed the plate? That was really bad. You're on a quest to save the world? Sure, I won't steal your material. Let's go save stuff.
Actually, Loth, I was actually about to bring that up. That probably means that I don't know if they'll necessarily have.
No, I actually don't think they'll do Vincent. Because remember, Vincent's in Shinra Manor. That's absolutely going to be like. They already made that like a weird freak show area in Dirge. And by the way, Square Enix, they mentioned this earlier. Square Enix will not let you forget Dirge exists. I love it. I think I tweeted about this. I'm like, I have so much like weird Schadenfreude joy that like Square Enix is like super doubling down on like, no guys, Dirge exists and it's canon. It matters. Where when I know so many people who want it to be forgot either because the gameplay was in fact mediocre or just the story was, you know, weirder and more anime than people thought Final Fantasy VII was. I don't actually think the storytelling was that different from 7. It's just 7 is all told in thought bubbles and stuff. You know, watching Remake, you understand, man, this is in fact as melodramatic as I thought it was.
Okay, so this is what they're gonna do. They're not gonna do a Vincent DLC. They're gonna do a Turks DLC, and they're gonna mention Vincent and shit.
I could see that. That could be an interesting one. But no, like,
Big Dragon.
I expect that Shinra Manor will be like a weird like area, and it could be entirely optional. Maybe you don't have to go in there, but they'll probably make it so that optional boss Lost Number is not an optional boss, and he's going to be really cool and freaky. Because remember, he was the guy who was orange and purple, and then orange and purple at the same time, and like did all that weird stuff. And as seen with shit like Hell House, they like their boss design. In the
I'm still trying to figure out how they fit that boss in a fucking safe.
No, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think technically what's supposed to happen is he's, like, hiding in the ceiling, and then when you open the safe, he comes out or something.
Or something.
Because you got the materia, but it's... Again, hopefully they'll make it make more sense in the remake. Also, we know from Dirge, there's, like, huge fucking double secret sewer systems under Shinra Manor, too, that are probably canon as well. Like that's literally a whole zone. I think that's mission, like, 4 or 5 in Dirge is, we got to go back to Shinra Manor, Vincent. And Vincent's like... Okay, I'm dead inside, but going back will make me extra dead inside. Let's go. I'm Steve Blue. I wonder if they'll keep Steve Blue before they get somebody new.
Well, Steve Blue
they probably will get somebody new, but I don't know. Bloom is the right guy for the role.
Oh yeah, no, I know Bloom's still doing work because he was in that trailer for that weird ass game.
Neon White, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Nah, he's still doing work.
Actually, my
Although,
question.
honestly, I don't know, but he could have been that first trailer voice in the Five Nights as well. I don't know for sure if it was him, but he could have been. When I found you, you were nothing. I'm like, that could be him. That could also be somebody else. He's got range.
Yeah, he do.
I think he's a real good fit for the role, but also I'm wondering if Square will continue to, like, completely cut ties. I don't... do we know who... Because she was in the trailer, do we know who Yuki's voice actress is?
It's probably been announced at this point since she did have voice lines, but I haven't actually seen anything on the subject.
I haven't seen it pop. If anybody knows, find, like, a database somewhere. Let me know.
Like I said, like, the JP voices are probably still the fucking JP voices.
Yes. The JP voices are all the same. That's because this is Japan. They never change. But the localization team, I think, like, I don't know why exactly. Probably because for some characters there were, like, 4 or 5 different voices.
Who knows?
Well, that's really interesting. So a lot of people are like, what are they going to do about Genesis? Because there are 2 things there. One of the reasons why I say that they're acknowledging Dirge explicitly is this was at the end of the Yuffie trailer. She encounters some deep ground soldiers, the major enemies from
Dirge.
And you see a brief shot of, in case y'all don't know, that was Weiss the Immaculate. I think his Japanese name is Weiss the Perfect White Emperor or something.
That's all.
The quirky mini boss squad in Dirge are like double extra. It's a Vincent game, you know they're extra. They're like extra. But no, that was definitely him with the spiky hair and the 2 katanas. His katanas are also guns. Yes, he has 2 gun katanas. Dirge was a time period. It was the early 2000s. It was an era, guys. It was an era.
Listen, this is
yeah, so like, go ahead.
No, this was a time where the oh god, what do I want to call it? The Japanese like sensationalism of being wild and cool was at an all-time fucking high. Like
yeah, this was peak. This would have actually shit. What console was DMC4 on?
No, that was on PS3. No, but PS2.
Okay.
No,
early
DMC3 really set a lot of.
I might be thinking of 3.
Yeah, you're probably thinking about 3, but 3 was.
Because I've seen some images from those. Yeah.
3 was Dante literally like wielding not wielding motorcycles like DMC5, but actually a regular ass motorcycle, actually beating people up, fucking playing pool, doing stuff. You kicking a succubus's ass and turning her into a fucking electric guitar, and then proceeding to have a jam session.
Was that the one where, because for some reason, my brain has always conceptualized DMC as a series with this one new weapon cutscene where Dante picks up, like, I don't know what it's called, but it throws like red spikes, and he says, "First I whip it out, then I thrust it in."
That's DMC. That's DMC4. That's
okay,
the.
That is 4. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
But still, like, that was not. We did not jump from 3 to 4 all at once, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, that was already how 3 was, and I believe yeah. So, like, no, this is. I mean, Dirge of Cerberus was way more emo than Devil May Cry has ever been, but no, this is that same time period. Like, in cutscenes, Vincent was doing, like, 3 triple flips and, like, shooting helicopters down with his fucking triple revolvers. And in game, you can, like, jump maybe, like, as high as a knee-high crate. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, the game was very extra.
Oops.
It was that time period. So, yeah. But, as I was saying, so not only does this mean that the Yuffie DLC will, like, explicitly be referencing Dirge content, which makes sense because Yuffie and Vincent often end up hanging out together because they were the bonus characters. Like, it's canon in Dirge because slight spoilers for 7, I guess, but it's been 5 million years, so suck it up, I don't know. But basically, what Dirge did was it said where Vincent and Yuffie were, because they're not in the final cutscene of 7, was they stayed in Midgar to evacuate before Meteor. And Vinny Boy went back up to the Sister Ray to make sure that that motherfucker Hojo was dead.
He was not.
No, he was not quite dead. He was busy uploading his brain into the live stream computer, but that's a different matter. Guys, like I said, Dirge of Service is wild. Like, I know people like shit on it, but like, you don't understand how fucking nuts this game was.
Nah, it's why I had to buy copies, just so I can go back one day and be all like, it's time for an experience.
And you'll have a different choice as well too, but we'll get to that. But like, Yuffie and Vincent are there together, so like Yuffie also shows up a couple times to like bail you out. I think she shows up even in the Shinra Manor mission. So like, that makes sense. I think that they're like tying her back because she was actually in the events of that game.
Mm-hmm.
But so they did the whole thing, like free upgrade to PS5. They did say that unfortunately the Yuffie DLC will only be for the 5 version. It makes sense why. It's kind of like with like Royal being only on certain consoles for Persona, right? It's like they designed this for the newer hardware version of the game, so it makes sense that they're advancing it. That's always sad though.
Well,
I'm sad about that with like Dragon Age Inquisition, for instance. Like the last DLC was only on the PS4 version of the game, which I started with, you know.
Yeah.
That's always sad, but it's understandable.
It's like progress marches on. You gotta remember, like, because of the fucking super controller subjects, like Sony has stopped their fucking production of PS4s except for one particular model. I can't remember which model it is, but it's probably one of the Pro models.
Yeah, probably the Pro. And like I said, I think it makes sense for them because they're trying to grow their market. They don't need to make more PS4s. The PS4 is already one of, if not the like best-selling console of all time, isn't it? Like it's. I don't know if it did surpass the 2. I don't think it did.
I don't think it surpassed the 2, but the 2 also had like a much longer life than I think.
The 2 had a very long dev cycle. Yeah, there was like areas of like Europe and South America that were still making 2s like well into the 3 generation. But the PS4 has sold very, very well. It's definitely in that like top 3, I think, of console sales. So like. They don't need to like market PS4s more. You've got it. They're gonna give it to you for free, the base version of the game. So like I think it makes sense that they're futuring their developments on the PS5 version. And also I expect what they're doing is they're cutting their teeth on adjusting to working on the PS5 because that's what the sequel's gonna be exclusively. Because Nomura was interviewed and he said that he said that he's actually not going to be directing the next one. He's still on his like senior creative lead and like producer, but he is not directing the project because he's a busy man. Which was a big thing of why it took so long for FF7 Remake to come out, was because he was busy with like 5 different things, one of which was Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
Yeah.
So he's a busy boy. I don't remember who it was, but it was someone that was, I believe they had some decent experience with it. They didn't grab some rando to continue the 7 remake. But so they're working on the sequel though, is what was, he's like, no, we're working on it. We're plugging away, guys. It's fine. So yeah, I expect that's the dev team probably cut their teeth on doing the Yuffie episode. You know, working with the new engine, the new graphics. I just looking at this GIF loop over and over again, I'm noticing, God, Yuffie has a fuck ton of fabrics in that shot.
Yeah.
That's probably hell on the engine. She's got like 3 different layers in there and it all moves. Soft things are very difficult to do.
Yes.
I almost said soft things are hard. But no, so we got this came out later, but we got the price point for the upgrade because we're going to dovetail into 7 had a shitload of news that wasn't on just the State of Play because it's not all PlayStation stuff. But they've announced that the standalone version you will be able to purchase for $10 more, both standard and deluxe, and it will, when you buy it standalone, it comes with the Yuffie DLC. So basically, you're arguably paying $10 for the DLC package. There is no word yet on what the standalone price is. I hope it's $10. Please, Square Enix, don't be assholes to me. But I gotta be real, unless it's like $30 or $40, I'm still buying it.
Yeah.
Like, they've still got me, even if it's like double the price it should be. Because what am I going to do? Buy my PS5 version standalone for like $70? No, I'll pay the price. By the way, guys, I've got time blocked out in June when the upgrade's coming. Because they did announce that also. It's coming in June. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to play it on my PS5. Because they've said your save data will carry over and everything. But they've done a very smart thing here. But yeah, I hope that the DLC is in fact the $10 or, you know, maybe throw in a little bit like 12. Maybe for like, you know, whatever their surcharge, but like just as long as it's not ludicrous, I'll be okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the story, like, it never really actually gave us a scale of how big the story is. We know that she shows up in between the time that like Cloud goes missing, but they don't
call it a new chapter, so I'm assuming it's like the way chapters are structured in the game. So it's probably a decent, chunk of time, probably like an hour or two on its own. It has at least one big boss fight in it, right?
Yeah.
And it involves a whole new character. So I'm like, that, 10-ish bucks is probably pushing it, but that's still decent, especially for how much I love this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I that seems like a fair price section, probably.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so they announced two other things after that, because they had a big old Final Fantasy VII news day. The first one was, yes, everybody's joking about it. If you heard of Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, they revealed it will be a mobile battle royale game. Basically, it takes place earlier in the timeline before the Soldier Project was established, and they're trying to find the first candidate to be a soldier, because Shinra needs more troops. And so you'll be competing in battle royales. I'm going to assume you're going to be competing in virtual spaces, because that was referenced a lot in Dirge as well, virtual stuff. But also, they're just using maps from 7 anyway, which I don't know if they exist yet. Which would be like a little weird, but yeah. Honestly, I'm not... Like, some people are like, this ain't it, fam. I'm like, I don't fucking... Listen, if you say that this game is it ain't it, it's not for you. Like, literally, they're not even aiming at you. They don't even want your money. They're trying to get Fortnite kids and, like, streamers and other mobile gamers, because... Let's be real. 7 Remake, really cool. It's great. It's a hard game to stream.
Yeah.
Because it's a big, long, stonking, like, 40 to 60-hour single-player RPG. It looks really pretty, but it's not like a casual streaming game, right?
Right.
So, like, it's nice, but I don't think it, I don't think it fits into also a lot of our modern, like, entertainment paradigms. I think that's what they're going for with First Soldier. They're appealing to, like, Japanese and international phone gamers, streamers, etc., right?
Yeah.
Like, I could see Square grabbing a couple of VTubers and being like, yo, shill our game, play it on stream. And they might actually find it fun. Who knows?
Who knows?
Some of those VTubers are huge nerds.
Nerds!
So, yeah, like, again, like I said, and because I agree, I don't think I'm going to play it unless it's, like, super, super fun. Just because it's a free-to-play mobile game. But it's built on, like, 7. I'm like, I don't know about this. But, it's probably not aimed at me. What is probably aimed at me, and actually I hope they're putting it on other consoles, is they announced Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. This was another leaked name. Mm-hmm. Which basically, so, Lucky, I don't know if you saw when I posted this comment, but I feel like what Ever Crisis is because there were a lot of purists, we'll call them, who complained about Remake being a remake, and not just, like, being exactly Final Fantasy VII, but HD, right?
Right.
This happened. I like to think that Ever Crisis was Square Enix was like, wait, you guys want to just buy Final Fantasy VII again, but HD? I mean, you can already do that. And then somebody was like, light bulb, I've got it. We'll do it. So Ever Crisis is going to be a mobile game. It's coming out in 22. Hopefully, like I said, it'll also be available on, like, PCs or maybe Switch or something as well, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, so it's going to be a chaptered game. And they're going to recap the story of 7, of Before Crisis, Crisis Core, and yes, Dirge of Cerberus in an episodic mobile game, which will basically be Final Fantasy VII but HD. Like, maps will take place in chibi form.
Yes.
They're not the rough polygons of the PS1 era, but they are in that very vein, right? They're stylized. Yes. And then battles will take place in the classic turn-based, but it will look more like 7 Remake quality graphics. So, like, it literally looks like the quote-unquote remake people were looking for with Remake. Mm-hmm. Where it's, like I said, it's just Final Fantasy VII, but fancy. But it will also, like I said, it will cover Before Crisis, which... Before Crisis was the OG phone game, right? Where you played as the Turks?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that was the game that never came out over here because it was on Japanese flip phones in, like, the year 2000 or something.
Listen, I was actually...
forgot that the Japanese phone game culture was, like, millennia ahead of us.
Actually, I was actually checking out Square Enix actually releases a fuck ton of mobile games.
No, they've been releasing mobile games forever. There are, like, 5 or 6 different active current Final Fantasy mobile games. Yeah. If not more, like, that are, like, semi-active, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they have a robust development for this. So I'm not shocked that they're releasing some mobile titles that are based on 7 again. So, but it'll be good to get Ever Crisis in some format, not Ever Crisis, Before Crisis, in Ever Crisis in some format outside of Japan for once.
Yeah, no,
cool.
I'm excited for that.
And honestly, as much as I would like, you know, like a PlayStation 5 or Switch version of Crisis Core, if this is their way of like recapping Crisis Core, I'll play it as Ever Crisis.
Well, like I said, like I think it's good just get that recap because, like I said, we saw Final Fantasy VII and there's something weird there. So Crisis Core might not be the most relevant.
No, but it'll be good to give people the story, especially if they adjust story beats, because like close your ears for like 5 minutes if you haven't beat Remake yet. Earmuffs. But, like, at the end of Remake, there's that whole thing with the Zack thing that, like, I realized that if you haven't actually done it, like, that doesn't make any sense if you don't know what Final Fantasy VII is about yet.
I guess that's true.
So,
like,
I wish Crisis Core might be important.
Yeah, actually, you're right, because, yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I would have been as shook about that scene if I hadn't played Crisis Core.
No, that's absolutely a scene that only exists to give people who know about the compilation agita. You're like, what the fuck is happening? What's going on? So, like, yeah, no, I think Core is important. Now, Dirge is very interesting because that's, well, also, actually, they said they're including
Advent Children
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, they're gonna recap Advent Children and Dirge, which are both sequel stories as well. That's gonna be interesting, because obviously 7 Remake is going to change some stuff around. They've already done it, but also, I believe I said this earlier, or an earlier podcast. Number has also said that they're not actually planning on shaking it up that much. They just want the creative freedom to do some different things, you know? Like, honestly, I expect the middle chapters will probably play out pretty much the same. I think the only question will be, are they going to kill Aerith again? Forever? And stuff like that, right? But I think that in general, the plot beats will take us to the point where we're still going to get, like, meteors, weapons, Sephiroth, etc., you know? So it's interesting to see them covering the sequels as well. So that's pretty interesting.
Like I said, I'm hoping, like, with this Ever Crisis, they're actually going to cover some of the stuff that actually happened between Dirge and Advent Children, because there's a lot of, like, stuff that's just been released in, like, little small things that doesn't or never got explained, like, in the movie.
Yeah, I believe they released a couple of, I don't even know if they were light novels. I think they were short stories that bridged you, like, from the end of 7 to Advent Children.
Yeah.
That is a thing. Lucky just mentioned it. Advent Children just kind of starts, and yes, Marlene explains the plot of 7 and kind of what's going on in Advent Children, but also not really.
Not really, no.
Like, you just are like, Geostigma exists. Cloud is a pouty boy.
Like, it explains, like, how, like, you know, Cloud and Tifa start, like, living together, but then they drifted apart, how they set up the fucking delivery service. You know,
yeah, they basically adopted a kid who's very important in Advent Children. Like, obviously, you get all this from context clues, but they don't explain any of it.
No.
Gosh, I don't remember the kid's name right off the head.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But like in the short story, there's one of the short stories is about him. He like was like I think his parents like worked for Shinra, and he was, you know, his parents died in the horrible near meteoring. And then, you know, Cloud just happened to like find him and be like, yo. You don't got anywhere to go? Okay, you can stay with me and my definitely not girlfriend. We also have this other kid. She's absolutely not our adoptive kid. She's actually our friend's adoptive kid, but he's out searching for oil. So, but no, like it'll be interesting to see if, like you said, they cover the bridges. Similar with Dirge, because like, I mean, Dirge does a decent way, because the first one is you're in Calm, and they set up the fact that they're having a celebration. It's been 3 years since Meteor. We're all alive. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then Deep Red shows up and kills everybody.
No.
But at the same time, it's like, it's very Vincent focused, so you don't really figure out what's up with other people until like they all show up in like, you know, the penultimate chapter when you need to go back to Midgar and assault it, because that's where the Deep Grind are hiding. And like, there's like 2 cutscenes of like, you know, Cloud has a cool cutscene where he gets on his bike and gets out all his swords, and you can be like, yeah, I'm back. I'm no longer emo. I'm cool Cloud now. It's cool. Yeah. You're not going to see me ever again in this game, but I'm here. I'm cool.
Actually, fuck, I forget. Is Advent Children after Dirge, or is Dirge after Advent?
Dirge is after Advent. Advent is 2 years, Dirge is 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, you know, Advent Children is Cloud's emo, and then by Dirge, he stopped being emo. He may still be Jesus, though. I don't know. Advent Children's not subtle about some things. It also, I gotta be real, in the context of how 7 Remake ends as well, I'm very interested to see how they handle Advent Children content, because there's some interesting parallels there, guys. There's some deliberate visual homages. But yeah, so I'm actually super excited for both of those. But like I said, I really hope they put it on something other than phones, because even though I have a new phone that has nice storage space, I don't think even like I can store the baby mode version of Final Fantasy VII on my phone.
You'd be surprised.
This game needed 3 fucking discs back in the day. Even if you cut the FAF out, you're gonna fit that and also like 4 more stories or whatever on my fucking phone? I don't know about that.
I have nothing else. Just BlueStacks it.
Yeah, I'll BlueStacks it if it comes to that. But it's definitely like, wow, really? Mobile? I mean, I guess you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that's cool. I'm actually very excited. It sounds like I like that they're basically, because honestly, a lot of people were concerned that they were just gonna ditch the compilation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely them being like, no, all that compilation stuff still happened and still matters for the like meta narrative of 7. Hence why Ever Crisis is like tying them all together. But there's still a lot of this like, there's freedom to expand, right? And like obviously some people will be like, oh, I don't know if First Soldier will be really interesting. They did say that it would story-wise link up to Ever Crisis. So I don't know. Will it be like, is First Soldier
because that's right. Because didn't they also say they're gonna actually have Sephiroth's first story in there too? In Ever Crisis?
Yeah, I believe that was Nomura said that they are planning a story about a certain young soldier, or no, a certain young that character in Ever Crisis as well. That will be a chapter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do even more arc welding. Which is really funny because I know I saw a super hilarious, very funny tweet about where somebody was like, I hope, ooh, 1.3, okay. I mean, that's decent, but they are adding like 4 games to it. I don't know.
Baby
they're also
Sephiroth.
improving the graphics as well. Like it's not just straight up the PS1 version. That's what I mean though. Like, I assume it's baby mode because it's a mobile, but I don't actually think it will be 1.3 gigs in size. It'll be 1.3 gigs per chapter. But no, somebody tweeted like their thoughts when the names week. They're like, I hope Final Fantasy VII First Soldier is a young Sephiroth story, and then it was like, it's a battle royale game, and they posted the like freaky, super baked smiley face evil like whatever. You got your hopes up, but also that person was technically correct because they're doing that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Irony. But yeah, 7 news. It's good. It's cool. By the way, guys, yes, Square Enix still does weird names. Ever Crisis Intergrade.
No Legendary Boss Hunter. That's Call of Duty. I saw that news article. Yeah, apparently there's was it Activision? Activision do Call of Duty? They're talking about how fucking Call of Duty Black Ops and Warzones will not fucking fit on a standard 100 gig fucking PlayStation anymore. And everyone's just like, but why?
Yeah, now I don't know the exact news because I hadn't tracked it down, but I've heard some people saying that Sony is talking about improving storage for your PS5 soon, so I think they're gonna start offering standalone storage accessories.
Yeah.
Like you can already just throw like a passport drive or an external hard drive on it anyway, but like they're apparently gonna like beef up like a first party option for that. That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. Oh, it's 500. Yeah, that's right. It couldn't fit on 500 gig machines. That's right. But still.
Yeah. God, that means the remake on the fucking 5 is gonna be huge as well.
Probably.
Because it'll be expanded. All right, whatever. I'll deal with it in June. I mean, I always wanted to like check it out and see if it runs a little spicier on my 5, but now that they've like explicitly confirmed the PS5 integrated version, I'm gonna wait. It'll be fun. And that'll be like not quite, but about a year after.
Oh, my knees.
That's all our 70 news. I mean, still super excited.
Yep.
I'm glad they found a way to like keep 7 alive and in people's minds without like going ape shit and like rushing anything, you know.
Yeah. Oh, one last little bit of news for those who like music, because I know Omega loves it. But the Final Fantasy VII Remake OST is now on streaming music apps and whatnot. Lucky might have gone to sleep last night listening to the OST, so I can confirm it is on there.
Yeah, it's really good. I listen to it all the time. I actually just have it separately, but yeah, it's good that it's on streaming service as well. More people can enjoy it. You should get it. This is like when they had that sale about 13 Sentinels right after we talked about it. Get it. It's good.
It good.
But yeah, no, the soundtrack's really spicy. I'm gonna track down. I feel like for first Soldiers trailer, they used a remake style version of the boss theme, but I don't remember if that actually showed up. I was like, oh, I need to track that down. I don't remember that one because there's a lot of remixes. Okay. Oh God, you were right, Lothram. They would do that, wouldn't they? They
did someone put the fucking post a sandwich again? I'm pretty sure. Yep. Well, okay, I'll give him a pass. It was first posted at 8:19 a.m. and then fucking an animal posted it at 6:21 p.m. Wait, no, I'm gonna give that a yellow card.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can scroll up a couple. It's not like General's packed.
Yeah, no.
Though, I don't know. I mean, some people posted. I don't know.
I don't know.
Talk about this stuff.
I guess it's just a yellow card. It's not the worst.
But yeah, no. I mean, that's the funny thing about talking about 14 crossovers. You talked about how you recently hit the area where they went ham on the Evil East stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they're talking about 12, they're talking about tactics, a little bit about 9. It's the Prima Vista, which is the theater airship that they start off with in 9. But yeah, no, they're dropping names like Ashlia and God, what was his name? He was a prince in 12, but then they're talking about Ramza and his sister Alma and the fucking guy who actually became king, and I'm just like, and they're bringing up locations. They have tactics music up in this joint. And I'm just all like, how dare you do this? You get to fight. What are the name of the fucking Actually, I think I have a screenshot of it because I saw it because I was like, what the fuck is this?
I think he's talking about a specific enemy type from Evil's.
You fight the summons. You fight the summons from tactics as bosses. And
they were also, in tactics, if I remember correctly, they were bosses and they became summons in 12, and it was very weird.
Yeah,
for villains, but isn't in tactics? I've never played tactics all the way through. I played it a little bit on a PlayStation emulator once, and I was not very good at it. But isn't Ultima the ultimate boss of tactics?
It's something like that. I don't.
Yeah,
it's been I'm not gonna lie either. It's been a fucking eternity since I've played as well.
That's fair. Hey, Square Enix, you could do another re-release because I know you did War of the Lions, but you put that on PSP. So did you really release War of the Lions? I kid.
Where are my Final Fantasy screenshots? I realize I don't.
No, Zodiark's in 12 though. I'm sure that will actually come up though.
Yeah,
because Zodiark's the ultimate one. No, Zodiark. So I don't want to delve into the lore. There's a whole thing about why Espers are sealed in various weird places and why they're weird guys. But I think I already knew that you fought some of them again in 14, and it makes sense because they are. Not only are they playable summons in 12, but also they're bosses to unlock them as summons. So it makes sense that they would show up in the MMO as fun little bossy times.
Here we go, screenshots. Did I get a good one of this? I don't fucking know. No, it's not the greatest. Yeah, it's hard to take screenshots mid-fight because a lot of shit's happening. But I'll post.
I'm just curious if they'll acknowledge Tactics 2 exists because that's in the canon. That, and also I think I tweeted about this as well. So after we talked about triangle strategy a lot, and by which I mean me, I talked about triangle strategy.
Yeah, that's a horrible shot, me.
Oh, that is Yzmat. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Yzmat.
That's the true secret boss of 12. He's the elite mark.
Mm-hmm.
Looking very HD.
I zoomed out too far because I was trying not to get covered in special effects.
Yeah. Okay. But so we talked about triangle strategy a lot last week. I'm really excited. So I actually busted out my DS and plugged it back in because my DS is ancient. It's first gen. It still runs, but its batteries don't stay charged so good.
Mm-hmm.
OG rechargeable batteries are like that. And I actually booted up Tactics Advance 2 to play a little. I was shocked considering I've also been playing Super Mario a lot on my Switch. I'm like, man, OG DS screens are fucking tiny.
Yeah, they are.
Like the DS is like so small in my hands, and I'm like, man, I could use this in bigger. Hey, Square Enix, please give me a Switch HD version of A2, and also put the original Tactics Advance on there. Just do a bundle. I'll buy it. There's a market. Yeah, one of my screen hinges is partially broke, but it doesn't actually separate the top screen from.
Is this a dungeon or a raid?
The Pharaohs? Or are you talking about something specific?
Oh, so I'm talking about me here specific. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it's a dungeon. Okay, I'll do it.
Because if you were talking about the thing where you took that clip, that's because I actually looked this up because I was looking at bosses and people talked about 12 content that's in 14. Like, so this is a thing that's always been in my mind because you guys are having a lot of fun. Like, this is the stuff like the nods and the cool cameos and the music. I'm like, that would be really neat. But Lucky, how many hours of bullshit did you have to get here to fight this guy?
Oh, fuck. Like, this is post fucking Stormblood, so you have to go through the main game, 2 expansions, all the bullshit in between, and then you have to do a bunch of dungeons and raids. Like, man, no, it's the MMO time sink. There is no.
Yeah, I'm like, see, this part is really cool, but I would never reach there if those intervening several months or weeks or whatever were boring. And I'm like,
well, to be fair, apparently Vesper did all this shit in like 2 weeks somehow.
Vesper is a machine though.
Yeah. Like, Vesper got through all the story, did I don't think they faffed about it at all, but they just power through everything.
Listen, like I said, I will at some point, I think, just to see how I like it, I think I will try the demo at some point.
Oh yeah.
Even if I like the demo, I don't have the time right now. I'm still slammed full of games. Guys, I own Persona 5 Strikers. I got it yesterday. It's sitting in my PS5 right now. I haven't played it a single second, okay? Which is a lot of restraint for me. Y'all know who I am. But yeah, no, that's the thing like I said, I like the references. We started this conversation by saying it'll be cool when they do 7 remake stuff. I bet it will.
Well, yeah, I know they already got Advent Children. You can actually get Cloud's fucking Fenrir bike in this game and drive it around.
That's pretty rad, right?
You can get the FF15 car that turns into the jet.
Yeah.
Clothing.
I mean, I bet they could do a thing where you get like the Buster Sword. There's got to be 2-handed swords. It's Final Fantasy. What am I saying?
Oh yeah, no, Dark Knight has them.
2-handed swords. Yeah.
Dark Knights.
I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't already a Buster Blade in there, and obviously they could make one, right, as a little cameo. They could have you fight Hell House if they don't already. All kinds of stuff. So, yeah, that's the fact that, and I think we talked about this with something else, the fact that 14 has kept Square afloat in rough times, right?
Oh yeah, no,
it's a big draw for them.
No, I was actually checking Square's financial report, otherwise, and they didn't actually do a lot in 2020, not globally. So
no,
yeah.
Let's see. Was 7 Remake the only really big title they had that year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got a couple lined up this year. Like, we're already hitting Bravely Default 2. They've got a couple of big titles, and some of them may have been pushed to this year. But yeah, no, Square is a company that's very mild, I'll say. Like, they know that they've got the games. If they take a few years, they got the stuff. Like, people are going to be interested in 16 when it comes out. I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
It looks interesting. And 15 is on the PS Plus collection, so I'm sure I'll play it there eventually, just because, I never got around to it before, but I'm like, fuck, it's free now. I might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Fallout 4 and all the other games on the PS Plus collection.
Yes, free is the right price for Fallout 4. I hear a lot of people say.
Absolutely. No, I mean, like, literally, I had the Game of the Year collection in my Amazon for forever, and I'm like, it's still like $30. I don't think that's worth it for what people have said about Fallout 4, what I've seen. Sorry, if you like Fallout 4, that's okay. I know a lot of people really like it, but I think me and Lucky, we've both said, our like, Kino Fallout game is New Vegas.
Yeah.
And I really feel like 4 learned the wrong lessons from New Vegas. It seems. And not that New Vegas is perfect, obviously, but like I liked a lot of the stuff it was going for, and a lot of the stuff it did better than some of the stuff I liked with like 3 than I did, which is saying something because like Fallout 3 was a hugely formative game for me on the PS3 era. I was like, holy shit, this game is great. Games are like this, you know?
Yeah, like I said, Fallout 3 was my first one, but then I started playing other things. I was like, man, Fallout 3 is not as great as I thought it was.
No, you play a couple of other games that actually have like deep storytelling and moral choices, and you go like, wow, Fallout 3 is really kind of shallow and like cartoonish. Bethesda, is this what you think moral choices are like? You can blow up your hometown, your new hometown, and be evil, or you can not do that. Why would I fire the nuke in Megaton just because you'll pay me a shitload of money? That's dumb. Why would I do that unless I was being cartoonishly evil? That said, I think I've told the story before on WhatsApp about I did an evil run, and it was like full-blown like Ubermensch shit where I was just like, I realized there was nothing stopping me from doing literally anything, and I just was like, oh, shopkeeper, you're gonna charge me 10,000 caps? You're dead. Give me your inventory. You can organize a wedding at Rivet City, and I was like, what if I threw a live grenade in here? Let's find out. I don't care about consequences. That's not actually a moral choice, though. That's just like, hey, it turns out there was no moral choice in this game, and it was all dumb and bullshit, and it doesn't matter. And it was just like,
it was all an illusion.
Whereas they're not perfect, but New Vegas definitely does the like, no, faction choices and faction alignment actually matter a lot, and you can absolutely get locked out of certain routes by not hanging out with certain people or making enemies. You know. And like when you do stuff for Caesar's Legion, you feel like you're doing bad things for bad people, probably. But yeah, so like it was an interesting experience. But yeah, 3 is definitely the right price for 4. But yeah, so about 14 a little bit there. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with 14, which I believe is what you were playing right now?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now. Like I said, I finally got through the Stormblood main story, which it's good. Like again, if there's something that I said, 14 is like the only MMO that I've actually invested actual time in. All the other MMOs I've played were always like the little cheap ones that just want nothing but your money and don't really care about anything besides that. And I'm just like, meh. I did it to kill time. So again, like playing this game and just have like, it's kind of weird because a lot of the I get oddly invested in some things, and 14's one of them. It's like I said, like I think I told this story on one of the WhatsApp where I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut back on a bunch of my gotchas that will give me time to play 14 and save me money because let's say I think I'm gonna be spending what, like $18 a month on this because I think it's like a $14.99 subscription per month. No, it was a $12.99. It's one of the two. But I also spent extra money on it so I could have some extra doodads because they do have it's like one of those things. They have those here. We can give you some little extra stuff if you're willing to pay a little bit more money. I was like, I'm willing to spend a little bit more money. And on that was
willing to spend a little bit more money.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, now I finished it. So, like, yeah, I'm only gonna be spending like maybe $20 a month on this game that I play almost daily now. Like, I usually have FF14 running on my computer, and then a gacha game on my phone, and a gacha game on my BlueStacks. Or I have a gacha game running on BlueStacks, and a gacha game running on my phone, and I'm playing something on my PS4, or watching. And I'm like, no, this is good. This is good. I don't feel like I am necessarily killing myself. Oh, I will say, though, Lucky did temporarily reinstall Arknights back in, because he's like, wait, thick-tailed girls? Gimme. Just give. I got the first free copy of, was it Tomami?
Yes.
And I was just like, I don't know if I want to do more. I got one. I'm like, we'll see. But I'm not going.
We've talked about this before. Arknights is really like one of the best gacha games out there because it's so forgiving. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need extra copies. You can increase her potential with tokens anyway.
Yeah. So I'm just like, maybe I'll do a little bit more. And I was also wanted to check out Siobi's little rogue-like thing that she got going on there, because that looked like the fucking interesting. But like, again, I'm not putting in a super lot of time, because I'm still playing Destiny's Child, I'm still playing FGO, and I'm still playing Azur Lane.
I'm just trying to like rotate and do my due diligence in all the games that I still play, you know.
But 14
and I gotta be honest, we'll talk about Control in a second, I think, but also this time's when I gotta take breaks from Control.
Yeah, like honestly, I thought you were gonna have a much better experience.
We'll get there. Let's do like we said. We'll talk about Pokemon briefly first. But
yeah,
I have good and bad experiences with Control. I think, like, honestly, fundamentally, there's just like some design things in Control that are not for me. Basically, they are meant for other people, and no matter how really good the graphics and how not chunky my game gets with the fact that literally everything has physics, doesn't improve the fact that I think the guy spent more time building a game where literally everything has physics than maybe making some of the core gameplay loop fun. Anyway, Pokemon. Speaking of things that people may or may not find fun, so there was it a Pokemon Direct, or was it just like a special Pokemon time stream?
I think it was
Nintendo Direct branded, was it?
Real talk, man, I have no idea. Like, I got out
True,
of
I don't even know. I never watched it. It happened like in the middle of the morning, and I was just like woke up to people yelling about shit in games, and I was like, okay, cool, there's Pokemon now.
Like like when Lucky's talking about people who like things way too much, this is literally the sensors, because I came in here, I was like, all right, let me set up some things for 14, and it's just rapid fire Pokemon talk, and I'm just like, is it really that exciting? And apparently these people, yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I actually, because it was on the DS, right?
Yeah.
I actually played, I think it was Diamond. Though I gotta be real, people were like, oh, like, I saw somebody like, oh, they didn't call it Platinum. Will this mean they don't include the quality of life about the slow pace? And I'm like, Diamond and Pearl were slow paced? Like, I feel like there's this whole, like, meta conversation of people who are now adults who care too much about Pokemon games, which are made for 10-year-old children, where as a 10-year-old or 10 to 15-year-old child, I just didn't notice or care. And I think, talking about caring too much, Lucky, I think sometimes people get a little too critical of some of these Pokemon games and it hurts their enjoyment.
Well, yeah, no, like, again, this is one of those things. It's just like, I don't know. I have problems with people who like to consider themselves connoisseurs of fine things when they actually have no basis for saying it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, listen. Video games are a legit medium, right?
Yes.
We know this. Video games don't cause violence, no matter what that one guy who wants to ban Grand Theft Auto because he thinks it causes carjackings things. Or anything else, right?
Right.
Like, but at the same time, video games are games. They're meant to be a sort of pop culture entertainment. Yes, some of them are very art house. Pokemon has never been very art house. It has a very simple concept. They're pocket monsters. They fit in your pocket. They're cute. You love them.
You collect them.
I do think the battle system has actually always honestly had like a lot of depth that you could enjoy that you maybe missed as a kid. But like, genuinely, the games aren't supposed to be like super deep, crazy, think really hard experiences. You're supposed to kind of just bumble around from town to town, beat up some gym leaders, find some new Pokemon in different areas, and you'll eventually there'll be an evil team who's doing something. Which, to be fair, that's escalated a lot over the years, right?
Yeah.
Like, in the first 2 gens, it was just Team Rocket, and they were just like, we're just here to steal Pokemon. We're the Pokemon Mafia. Bleh.
Bleh.
And then you get to Ruby Sapphire, and they're like, we want to increase the amount of ocean or land. And I'm like, okay, this escalated a little bit. And then Diamond and Pearl is like, I'm going to create a new dimension because this one sucks. Okay. Good luck with that. I'm 10. I'm gonna boop your snoot.
I'm gonna boop your snoot with these cosmic power Pokemon that can rip time and space.
I'm gonna put God in my Pokeball, and I'm gonna boop your snoot. And, oh no, I have been defeated by a small child. Like, honestly, I think the stakes for Sword Shield were actually a decent step down, right? They were like, yes, there was a freaky outside of context Pokemon, but like, it was an ancient meteorite that had been slumbering under Not Britain for years, and we accidentally turned it on when we tried to use it to power our electricity.
I mean, that's
like it was an energy crisis that accidentally awakened an ancient alien Pokemon.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem too outlandish. You're already
and,
in a...
Yes, you fought back by acquiring the title Pokemon who were like legendary guardians of the land, but like, no, that tracks. That's cool.
Very quest.
That's like how legendaries were in like Gold and Silver. It's just the story was not as well put together back then, not as coherent. Anyway, so people are losing their fucking minds over the fact that they are announced Diamond and Pearl remakes, like we all knew they always would.
Yeah, no.
They remade Red and Green. They remade Gold and Silver. I appreciate Heart Gold and Soul Silver a lot.
I do too.
That was my first big one. They did Omega Sapphire. No, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
I don't remember.
They both Omega. I don't even know. I don't even remember. They did Ruby and Sapphire remakes. Of course, they're fucking gonna do Gen 4. It was Alpha Sapphire, okay.
Yeah, guess what?
Sorry,
They're just...
it was the blue one. The other one was red. I don't care about that one. Welcome to 10-year-old Omega's lifestyle. Is this red? No. Like, I always knew they would be doing it. I think it's cool because there's some cool systems. It might be fun to revisit them. It's going to be on the Switch, I assume, because they don't make DSs anymore.
No, but again, they're just regurgitating. Like, the thing is, like, I can understand people like coming, like, everyone likes their, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's a Kelpie. Oh, it's actually called a Kelpie, too! Hey! But, like, it's just the Pokemon, like, always seems to me, it's like, alright, we're gonna do something new, and then we're gonna just remake, like maybe, like, 5 or 6 of our old games. And you guys are just going to go nuts over every single fucking one of them. And I'm like...
Yeah, Nintendo has that market anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're good about it, sometimes they're bad. But, like, Pokemon is definitely, like... I don't really know... I mean, they've been doing it for a very long cycle. They're only on... How many generations of Pokemon games are there? Guys at home?
What? 8? Listen, if you say 8, I'm gonna believe 8.
Is it 8? So that means that they're at a roughly 50% speed with remakes, right?
Yeah.
Because they're on Gen 4. It has taken them many years to get this far, because considering that Fire Red and Leaf Green were remakes for the Game Boy Advanced. Okay? Like, that. This is a very slow process they go through, but they're going through the process. Now, I do think that, like we said, that's a big tech gap. Diamond and Pearl were the first DS games, right?
Right.
Now they're going to be on Switch, so they're still on a tiny chip the size of your thumbnail, but now the chip is better. And also, you don't lick the chip.
Don't lick the chip.
By the way, I still haven't been dumb enough to do that. I know some people who did it deliberately. I've never licked any of these Switch cards.
Why do people do that?
But,
I'm about to slap this fucking... Well, I am trying to slap this horse. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm distracted by somebody posting insightful commentary, but they're doing it in absolutely the wrong channel. They're in, like, general, and I'm like, why? Anyway, I'm recording the show. Gotta focus.
Focus.
But, yeah, so they're doing the Diamond and Pearl remakes. I mean, I'll be interested. Like I said, I still need to probably pick up the DLC for Sword and Shield, because because I took several years off of Pokemon. Like,
oh,
I literally missed all the 3DS games because I never owned a 3DS. I was busy buying PS4s and stuff. And also, I think 2 PS3s technically as well, somewhere in that time frame. Because I dropped my first one. Like, listen, I had other shit I cared about, and I never found time to buy and honestly, it would have been a 2DS because the 3DS thing was a dumb game. Thanks, Nintendo. I know they did some cool stuff with it, but when they started, it was definitely a dumb game. So, like, I don't have any of these weird impressions or feel like Game Freak lied to me about anything. Sword and Shield was fine. Bite my shiny metal ass. I liked it a lot. Will I like it better if they do this? Like, will I like the Diamond and Pearl remake better? I don't know. I'll see. One thing I like about remakes is they do usually add the content from the bonus third game that was a thing they did for a while, right? Speaking of selling you the same game again.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Crystal, they've been doing that. So, like, I do think that that might be like some new experience if you only bought the original like Diamond or Pearl and you never played Platinum. You know, they'll have some interesting stuff there. But yeah, it's just been more. I don't even know if it's interesting, but there's been more stuff going on with observing people reacting to this news than this actual news. Because like, when that first Nintendo Direct hit last week, so many people were like, "Gen 4 remake, Gen 4 remake." I'm like, wow, you guys are really enthused about this. I think a key thing here is possibly that well, yeah, I mean, but I have my OG cart and I have an OG DS, so.
Actually, I still have the Heart Gold on DS. Now I think about it.
I also have that. I never have time to play it, but I got it. I got it, and I got a functioning DS. When my DS eventually stops functioning, then I'm going to be in for a cry time. But for now, I got it. But no, I think maybe the big takeaway here is that they are officially outsourcing this remake. Like, Game Freak and Pokemon Company are getting somebody else to do the legwork of it, which is what most other game studios have been doing with remakes for years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, Nintendo can learn.
Teach an old company new tricks.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's interesting news, but it's interesting. It's interesting in like watching a car wreck. You can't look away to watch people react to this news. Where it's just like, wow, you guys are really fired up about this. This is beautiful and horrifying at the same time.
Yeah, like I was actually trying to like, because this is one of those things. I look at other people, then I look at myself, and I'm all like, am I like this with anything? And I'm like, no, I yell a lot, but that's just kind of my default setting for a lot of things. I don't think there's necessarily anything I ever get so super hyped up about that I am screaming at any and everybody, like yelling at game devs about stuff. Like I'm just like that's not me.
Like we were both pretty into like Cyberpunk, but we were both, our expectations were tamped. Like honestly, like this is the thing, right? Like people said this was Cyberpunk, people said this was Sword and Shield. I don't get it. They're like, oh, developers lied to me. I'm like, maybe you should stop listening to developers then. Everybody lies. Everybody lies to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Your government lies to you. Your parents lied to you. Your lover lies to you. Your work definitely lies to you. We probably lied to you at some point. About stuff.
It's just,
at the very least, I know that in the past 24 hours, I have been deliberately vague about at least one thing. It's a nothing thing, but I definitely did not tell people the whole truth about stuff.
Yeah, no. And so like with with Cyberpunk, like everyone's like, oh my god, it's so horrible, it sucks so much, it's screaming, and I'm like, I'm sitting here like at my third fucking, you know, crash of the day, and I'm just all like, just time to reload up. And guess what? I beat the fucking, you know, fucking unplayable game on the fucking PS4, and I was like, I had an okay time.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, I'm
it's just not worth it.
It's weird. Like I just find people get so excited.
But yeah, like I don't feel at any point have I ever felt like I believed 100% in what a video game developer was telling me or showing me on a screen, that I was like, you lied to me, how dare you, this is the worst. I'm like, listen, now what I usually do is and I do this for most things, like, I don't know, maybe it was just something as a kid where like my parents always talked to me about not believing everything you see on TV and actually like let me apply it to like, oh, you want that cereal that's just chocolate chip cookies? Here you go. We got it for you. You try it, and you're like, wow, this is horribly disappointing. This isn't nearly as cool as those commercials. And so I've just realized that, like, no, advertising is all lies. Everything you see in an advert, that's a fucking lie. It's made up. It's fake.
Did you do it yourself?
They it up
it's
to
fake.
Make you buy it.
Yeah.
You see food in a commercial? Fake.
Well, that's literal fake. That's like fucking...
Literally fake. It's painted cardboard and, like, you know... inedible shit. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe I just had that good moment formatively where I've never 100% trusted anything anybody says in a marketing format. Like, and so I look at what they show me, I look at what they say, and then I weigh it against my own opinions, and I weigh it against, you know, what other people say about it, and I decide, like, if I'm getting hype about a game, I usually decide, based on what I reasonably expect this game to actually be, is this cool? That's how I was at Cyberpunk. I'm like, no, if my expectations are reasonable, I don't think this game will cure cancer or anything. It's not going to, you know, end world hunger. But, like, I I was like, no, if they do some of the stuff they're talking about, this is gonna be pretty cool. And it was pretty cool. I had fun. I do think there's some polish there. I'm sad the 1.2 update is delayed because of this horrible hack thing.
Yeah.
And that I hope that if they catch that hacker, they throw him in a deep dark pit and he never comes out.
If I understand this correctly, it's not a fucking like singular. I think it's a.
No, it's
group.
probably a group or whatever.
Because we have a member on Discord who actually works IT. He says it was probably one of those broad form attacks where they just sent out a bunch of attacks to a bunch of people and saw which one caught something. This is why you don't open suspicious emails. Literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was probably a gap because the reason why they're locked out now is because CD Projekt Red is like, hey guys, don't use any of your remote access tools until we figure out exactly how they got in, which means it's hard to work from home. But you gotta work from home because the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, as somebody just said. So it's like, fuck, dude, it's so complex and sad. And I hope they can just get back to work and they can get back to their jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like, lucky you had to take, I think, a couple of unexpected mandatory vacations during the lockout times, and I know you were not happy about it necessarily.
Oh yeah.
This is basically the same thing but worse. So like, yeah, no. So I wish CD Projekt Red all the best, just in general. I'm just like, I have played games that I have been mad at. Like, fuck, dude, I'm pissed off at Control sometimes. I don't feel like Control lied to me. I just feel like what I want out of Control and what Control was made to do are not necessarily the same thing, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm still gonna beat this fucking game.
For me.
I'm still playing this game.
But actually, I think at some level, Control is for me. It's just
Control gameplay.
Get there.
Control gameplay is not for everybody.
Yes, we'll get there in a second. I think we should mention the other Pokemon title they announced. What is it even? What is it called? Ancient something?
It was like Arceus Legends or something. It was something like that.
Legends. It takes place in Ancient Sinnoh. Or whatever. It looks like they're doing like kind of like that one Pokemon Conquest game I never played, but they're like doing a little bit of a historical mythological tone to it. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be open world. So I'm like, that seems neat. Like they experimented with open world Pokemon shit in Sword and Shield for sure. Much like maybe they did that deliberately, much like how Breath of the Wild had some of the same sisters for Skyward Sword. Mm-hmm. But like it. From what I have seen, it looks neat. It has inspired people. Somebody drew what they called Cynthia Nomai, basically Fox Girl Cynthia, and I'm just like, okay, all right, interesting.
No, that was good. That was good.
We're doing some interesting vibes here. Okay, all right, I'll see what this is about. But also, Pokemon side games are not universally good. Oh, so yeah, so they just see wide open spaces. I mean, so it's probably just like Sword. I mean, also, let's be real. What is even an open world game these days? Just like one contiguous map with instances? I don't even know.
Oh, no.
Whatever. That said, if I hear anybody complaining about how they got lied to about it being an open world game, especially if there was no confirmation, fuck you. You just made yourself mad.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah. And that's like, this goes back to that graph we talked about, not satisfied with heaven and earth and whatnot. Like, no, people are like gonna be really hyped about stuff that's not even real, like not even lies. It's just not straight up. Nobody told you that. I don't know. It's like it's good to be excited about stuff, but like, God, there's so many fucking Pokemon games on everything. Why? If you like Pokemon, why be so mad at Pokemon all the time? Like, obviously, you should not let developers get away with being shitty, right?
Right.
But I don't actually, as a guy who really enjoyed his Sword, specifically Sword, but yeah, Sword Shield experience, I don't think they were that shitty to me. I paid the money, they gave me a game, I really liked it.
That's how we do. But also in that same presentation, didn't they show some more Pokemon Snap 2 stuff? If I remember correctly.
They might have. Like I said, I haven't actually watched the presentation, and nobody was yelling about that one, but. Yes, they apparently did. That's cool. That's actually like Snap was a side game of Pokemon that worked and was interesting, and I'm glad they're kind of coming back to it.
Yeah, no, I might get that because again, like to put it the best way, I grew out of Pokemon because I'm like I don't have time for this.
And it is time intense. Like I said, I skipped several games. The last one I played was the first Black and White.
So. But Snap was... man, do I still have the OG Pokemon Snap? I think I do.
I never owned an N64, so sadly I did not own it. I played it at a friend's house when we were youngins, and we looked much on the game facts as we tried to figure out how to get the secret Pokemon pictures. And threw apples at Pikachus and stuff.
That's a game that I feel like you can play for like maybe a couple times, like maybe for a bit, and just be all like, all right, cool, I can put this down for a while or come back to it later. Like, not so much like actual Pokemon where it's fucking, all right, it is time to go train. It is time to...
I mean, because Pokemon's I guess a tactical RPG maybe, but it's a straight up RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta like level up stuff, you gotta do stuff, you gotta grind things, farm things. You know, you have to rely on RNG. It's like, nah, there's too many variables for me to have a quick but good time. And that's why I look at Pokemon Snap. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go sit on the rails. I'm gonna point my I'm gonna point my Switch at things. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm gonna throw apples at Pokemon, and they're gonna look cute while they're eating them. I'm like, this is cathartic and quick. Perfect. So yeah, man, I'm still interested in that, but like main titles, I'm like, meh. Actually, I should actually have retweeted that Cynthia know my picture the more I think about it, because Lucky does have a disposition towards fox women.
Let's see, how many billion things have I retweeted since then? Can I find it in my own profile? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Here, let me relink it for the people at home in the Discord.
Yay. Yeah, there it is.
It was not hard. There was your tweet about a vast letting you do a next century reminder.
I was dying for like 5 minutes just thinking about it. I'm not lying.
Nah, it's pretty rad. It's pretty fun.
For context, Lucky was doing some maintenance on his computer, but we were about to record, so I was like, ah, shit, I can't restart right now. I've asked, remind me later, and it's like, when will you like us to remind you? Like, in the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next century? I'm just all like... It's like... I love it when companies are just that little bit of self-aware. I really do.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's... Like, you don't actually want to be reminded next century, but you definitely want to be like, set a reminder, but like a long time from now. I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. I got this. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have fun tonight. I'm not hot.
So I want to, before we move on to talking about Control, I want to mention really briefly, because they posted what's going to be out on the PS Plus this month.
Oh
so
yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about free games. So one of them is the Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4.
Yep.
Also on the PS4 is Remnant from the Ashes, or the PS4 version anyway.
Yeah, that's not a bad game. I played it.
Okay, interesting. I haven't. It seems alrightish though, if I remember from trailers.
People
specifically for PS5, they're adding Maquette, which is a puzzle game, an Escher-esque recursive simulation. It's making its debut on the PS5, and it is part of the Plus collection only for PS5. So. Basically, the way it's talked about in this blog post is that you will look at a diorama of a building you're in, and then you get to change the diorama, and it changes the real building. The puzzle shit.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm like, that looks neat. I'll play it for like 5 seconds, and if it sucks, I'll stop. And for VR, Farpoint is going to be on there.
Yeah.
And, Destruction All Stars will also still be available.
Yeah, for Remnant from the Arches, I guess the best way people usually put it is they call it Gun Souls. But yeah. But speaking of PlayStation Plus games, I guess now it's the time for Control.
Yeah. So, much like, and obviously we're not going to do our full deep dive because I don't think, like, did you beat the game?
No, what's the best way to put this? I got to the ordinary research hall. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Okay.
I don't know, like, how far you are.
Is that I'm doing side quests, but the last thing I did was I did containment for the first time.
Yeah, no, I'm not too far ahead. I'm not too far ahead of you. I think I'm
so
like...
we're not done with that, so we won't like full deep dive. But like 13 Sentinels, I think we'll talk about gameplay stuff first because that's probably what's most contentious with us, and then talk about the actual game a little because I played it and I like the game's really interesting. I like its atmosphere. A lot of people have compared it to SCP Foundation, but I mean I'm not an expert in it, but I feel like Control has a lot more better put together and contiguous like universe.
Well, yeah. Well,
and
here's the thing.
Because SCP's all fan-made submissions, right? So,
yeah, SCP also thrives on creepypasta. Like specifically, when they make submissions, they want weird fucking things that might make you lose your sand score. Control is just
like I said, they don't really seem to care too much about it making sense together as a single universe. Basically, it's just everything's weird. Whereas Control has whole like departments and whole characters whose only job is to try and make some of this shit make logical sense, right? So like they have very specific categories: objects of power, altered items, thresholds, altered world events, you know, the astral plane, right? Like everything fits into some of these bubbles somehow, and they make it make sense. And you'd be like, does it actually make sense that I think this fridge ate a dude? No, but it's plugged into the astral plane, so I guess I have telekinetic powers, so you know
that you
make it work.
That you got from a fucking floppy disk, by the way.
Right. It's from a floppy disk that contains launch codes, so it lets you launch things. The collective unconscious is weird, guys.
Yeah.
So playing Control, it's a third-person shooter. It's an action game. It's got some pretty standard level-uppy type mechanics. But
I don't even want to call them standard. Well, they are standard, but
they're standard for like these action games. Unfortunately, they make it feel a little half-assed.
Yes, they do.
I've been thinking about this. I think my ultimate complaint with Control is that I don't feel like I'm in control of progressing or how hard the game is.
Yes.
I feel entirely like the game developers have put me on a roller coaster, and I don't like it. For a game called Control, I feel like I don't have a lot of it, which is probably intentional, considering the smug motherfuckers were like, Control is meant to be challenging but rewarding. Please try playing without assist mode. And I was like, fuck you, I'm done. I've played your game for 10 hours. So I've actually started playing around with assist mode. I actually like that it's got variable knobs. Have you tried any of the assist mode features, Lucky?
No.
Well, it's pretty interesting. Some of them are pretty basic, like just sticky console, but others are just like, it's like how in Stellaris you can set like how many levels you are. You can just be like, I'd like it if my gun reloads just a little bit faster, or you can be, or like, I wish I had a little bit more damage reduction, or I set it to 100% damage reduction multiplier as to see what it would do. It's literally you take no damage, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad you put that setting in. I don't want to play the game that way, but like that's funny.
Yeah.
You can become immortal, meaning you never die. Though I believe if you fall down a bottomless pit, you still die. But you still lose health, so like you still feel like a challenge, and you're punished by having low health by having your screen go at once. You can also do one-hit kills. This does work on bosses. I tested this because I fought that fucking fridge boss 5 times in a row because he's incredibly bullshit, and I was just 100% done with him.
Do you know how I have solved most of my problems in fucking Control?
How? Let me know.
Launch. I maxed out launch super fucking early.
Yeah, I probably spread myself too thin. I can't afford a reset. That probably would work, because, like, launch... So I love this about launch. Yes, there are objects you can pick up anywhere, but also if you don't have any objects, you just fucking heat the fucking floor, the walls, the ceiling, whatever.
Yeah. No, launch... Because that's the thing. I was looking at it. The damage from launch goes up with every iteration. So when it goes, like, plus 30, plus 40, it's not you're not going up to, 40 damage. No, you've added plus 40, so now you're plus 70. Total. So the fucking damage multiplier with launch gets fucking stupid high. So I could one-shot, like I have 0 assist mode, and I could one-shot most standard enemies with no shield. And even with a shield, sometimes they just fucking die. Like the fucking 4 more, I fought it twice. Now, the second time, it wasn't even a fucking joke because I literally threw like 4 bricks at it and it died.
Yeah, I've also done the 2 fights.
So, keep going, please. And like, and then also, I love charge. I have the charge gun.
I only unlocked that one.
But
I'm sure it's cool.
Yeah, no. Well, no, you keep telling. I'll make comments later.
Oh well, okay. So I was just like, and it sounds like the game rewarded you for like specializing a lot, and yes, it does have a respec button. But hey, guess what? The game never told me that if I want to just win all these fights, I should just put all my points in launch. I'm like putting shit into HP. I got levitate finally, so I put some stuff in that. I like the idea of the slam, right? Because that's that's good for movement and for hurting people. So
yeah,
I'm like, I'll buy a slam, you know.
I'll talk about my thoughts on like abilities here in a little bit.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel at times like, and I don't want to really shit talk the developers. The game's very pretty. It's got a lot of interesting mechanics behind it. But it feels like one of those games where the developers crawled up their own ass a little bit about like, oh guys, you can launch anything all the time. I'm like, yeah, cool. Does the fact that literally every piece of terrain in this room is like destructible and has physics matter? Does it fucking do anything? No. Maybe we should have put more thought into making like interesting rooms that do stuff rather than just like, you're in an office space. You can throw all these cubicles at people and hide behind some of them. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like,
I say quote unquote hide behind them because I am kind of sad that there is not actually a good cover mechanic in this game.
No, the cover mechanic's very half-assed, and it doesn't matter because everything's destructible.
Yeah.
Like, certain enemy types are designed to blow up your cover. I think honestly, like, part of it's because I don't feel like I'm in control, but also that's because I feel like the game is split between, like, at its core, like, without leveling, right? Obviously, when you've leveled up launch, you can do things pretty fast, I bet, because you can just chuck things at people, eat them, and it works pretty well. I think what the game actually wants you to do is to mix shooting people with your various guns, because there's a lot of
that's my thing. That's my 2-gun settings are grip and charge, and I usually empty half my clip, throw something. That's usually enough time for my clip to start recharging, and then I start shooting again. Then I alternate with launch, and I do this while constantly running around things in circles.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say was I feel like the game is torn between wanting every combat to be fast-paced and hectic. You can't stay hidden. You've got to move. You got to shield. You got to dodge. Like, you got to get out of there, otherwise you'll die. You'll get surrounded. But also, there's no passive way for you to increase your ability to hurt enemies who are constantly getting stronger.
Nope.
You can upgrade weapons. Yes, you can upgrade your strengths. You can only do that with ability points and upgrades that you only unlock through progressing missions.
Yes.
I don't get them for stuff like. Well, actually, that's a good question. Do you get ability points for the little time-linked missions?
No, but you will. You do get ability points for finding little hidden rooms, though.
Okay, so there's a little bit of exploration reward, but like, for all these like extra shit they throw at you, like board countermeasures or the time-linked missions, they don't really give you a lot of reason to do them. It's like, oh, there's a special. You got 20 minutes to go do this mission down in research. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of containment right now. I don't need to go to research game. Why would I do that? Especially if I don't get, like, ability points out of it. I can just shoot enemies who keep spawning in areas even though I've already cleared them to get source or whatever.
Yeah, and, like, here's the thing. And the upgrades for your weapons, they do get strong and you unlock a new mod. They only get 3. Once that 3's done, the thing's fucking capped. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and basically you have to go to a new area to get the next level of mod to get more whatever out of it. And it's like I'm rocking the I don't know, maybe now that I've got charge it'll be my mainstay. My mainstay actual like real boy gun mod has been Pierce because it has long range, it's very accurate, and it's very powerful.
Oh yeah, no, that's my other go-to. It's just I haven't been using it as much because I haven't got all the things to upgrade to level 3.
But upgrading grip is cheap. I'm pretty sure my grip is like level 3, so I'm like, nah, this just works too. Just shoot it, guys. Just shoot at mofos. It's fine. You know?
Yeah.
And like fucking spin and shatter are so goddamn useless half the time. I don't like it.
No,
I would be cooler, but they're really not.
No, they're not. I only use them when it's for like the countermeasures. Because
so like I said, the game, because you can't upgrade these selves freely, like even Lucky could not upgrade his launch freely. You had to do story missions and side quests and stuff to get that up, and actually also focus all your points in it, right?
Yeah, let's see. I'm a little bit further than you, so I'm pretty sure I have more points than you, but I have maxed out health, maxed out energy, maxed out launch, and I bought the super final upgrade that lets me hold up to 3 objects at once and charge while holding them, and the ability to throw back missiles and rockets, because God, I was so happy when I was gone.
I can't believe that's not a starting effective launch.
And because here's the thing I have a problem with. Why does everyone and their fucking mother get homing rocket missiles that are almost impossible to dodge unless you are behind something or you actually have the ability to dodge, which, by the way, is not something that is standard and something that actually requires fucking energy, but they'll let me levitate all fucking day in the fucking air like a balloon and get shot down.
It's because you need to traverse the bottomless pits, Lucky. It's the oldest house. It's spooky. Okay.
Like,
So I think what we're getting at is we're getting at the crux of the problem with Control, which is atmospherically, writing-wise, Control's a great game.
oh, that's lovely.
It's fucking beautiful. It's got a lot of like really interesting characters.
I love reading correspondence. I love reading all the little fluff and lore and stuff.
Yeah, it's got so much like background fluff and lore. I actually really like Jessie as a character because like she seems a little weird because she's constantly talking to herself, but then you figure out she's actually talking to somebody, talking to Polaris.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
she's that sassy adult kind of, but she's like, I don't want to be too sassy to people.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not your fucking director, but also you need my help, so I guess I'm the director.
Cool.
And I love how magically the house let everybody know I'm the fucking director now.
Like everyone, all the pictures changed.
Also, by the way, I haven't unlocked any new cosmetics, so there's these pictures of Jessie in a suit, and I'm still rocking civilian. And I'm like, this is hilarious. When do I get that suit?
It's probably like at the end of the game or something.
Yeah, it's probably after you beat the game. Maybe there's a special ending for it. I don't know. Anyway, but like, so atmospherically, the game's great. The characters are very well acted. They do this really good motion capture. I love how they mix actual fucking live action for the like projector screens and shit, right?
Yeah, with like
Darling,
yeah, Dr. Darling, even Trench.
Yeah, and there's so many, and I love the board. I always love to talk to those motherfuckers because they say like 5 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like? Like one of the things they said was like, we apologize, do not accept. I'm like, oh, I love these guys. Like there's a lot of love and care put into the design of the game. I feel like unfortunately, because they were too much about that stuff, they forgot to maybe fine-tune some of the actual gameplay aspects. Because like you said, there's not really a good cover system. And unfortunately, most of these rooms are only like halfway designed to be like, say, Mass Effect tier chest-high wall rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, most of these rooms are supposed to look like cool, weird, spooky Delta Green office rooms. Okay, cool. That fits the atmosphere. Not all of these are fun to play in. Why is Levitate infinite? Well, because you'd never be able to play the fucking game otherwise. You already have a hell of a time playing the game before you unlock Levitate, which takes way too fucking long. Like, I knew there would be, like, a float or double jump, but I feel like I played way too many hours of this game before I got there. Yeah. Hell, dodge wasn't default, like you said.
Yeah, no,
you start with that ability.
No, it's literally you're in chapter 2. I remember this. You see you're going to see the janitor. You see a weird light, and it's almost completely optional to go check out that light. You don't have to go check out that light. They
do give you the side quest pop and are like, check out this weird light. But yeah, you don't have to do that.
And then
the only ability you have to get is you get levitate from the TV. That's mandatory, I believe.
Yeah, that's mandatory but
launch is the first mandatory ability you get. Because you just run into that guy and you're like, what the fuck is this? What's going on?
I don't know if it was mandatory, but it's...
Actually, you're right. It might not be. It's in a separate room.
No, well, because the way that it happened, because I remember this, you're going through dead letters on the way to the main room, and you walk by and you see a guy coming out of the door, and he gets just beamed constantly with canisters. And then when you go in that room, that's
the kind of thing that you'd never ignore, but is technically optional.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. Like, I get what they're going for, but like, fuck, these core abilities should be mandatory. Are you trying to make it challenge mode friendly? Which I think, especially, like I said, the way that they don't really sass you, but the way they like caution you about using assist mode, I think is what they're going for. Unfortunately, these guys played too much Dark Souls and are like, oh, we can make a game like that. And I'm like, no. Not every game needs to be Dark Souls, damn it. It's 2020 or whatever, or 2019, I think, when this game came out. Anyway, it's like, because here's the thing. I've played Bloodborne. I actually like Bloodborne. I like it a lot better than Control in that aspect for like raw gameplay. Because Bloodborne is very fast-paced and visceral, and you can actually grind it because it's a fucking RPG.
Yeah. You can't grind in this game. You just can't.
No. I mean, you have to grind if you want new weapons and upgrades, but that doesn't really do anything other than you get more source and you get more crafting materials. And you get as many crafting materials from finding rando chests anyway, which are everywhere.
Yeah, no, like, if they had a source to ability point function, that'd be pretty cool. If
like how you can upgrade your random, by the way, mod construct option.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I would prefer if this was a straight up RPG and like I could actually like earn ability points through like a level system with source or whatever instead of like a currency. But yeah, it's just it feels like I'm not in charge of a lot, which is actually why I think the assist feature, like I said, is really cool because it's granular. Like you can be like, I want my ammo to just recharge a little bit faster. It's a little annoying. I want to shoot a little bit more. or you can go apeshit and turn on God mode, right? Like, it's an interesting concept, but it's the kind of thing I feel like I almost feel like the game should have started with some of those features in play, and then if somebody wants to go ham, they should have been able to turn on hardcore mode or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
this game has a fuck ton of story. Usually games like that are like, hey, you can set this to baby mode and play only for the story, because I'd love to. The narrative, like I said, is great, but the gameplay just really, like, I gotta be careful about saying this. Lucky, I'm gonna warn you. I might meme bomb you, but I'm back on. I'm doing another cycle through all of Codex Alera again.
Oh wow.
Because Thursday night I read 2 books because I was just done with Control, and it was like, I don't want to go to bed yet. What can I do for several hours? Hey, is all Codex Alera on my ebook reader? It is. Is my ebook reader charged? Yes. Okay, cool. And I just I literally read Furies of Calderon and Academ's Fury like back to back one night, and I was like, bedtime now. And only because I was dead tired did I actually stop. I would have immediately gone for Cursor's Fury, but that's because I love those books. But no, it was like Control has definitely gotten me, like, frustrated. Like I said, I actually turned on one-hit kill on the former because I died, like, 5 times because it's...
You don't do enough damage with fucking your gun.
It's a fucking bullshit boss fight for no reason. I don't know why the game designed it. So let me tell you about this boss, guys. First of all, I don't spoil, like, everything about him, but just in general thoughts. First of all, he's huge. Most bosses I've seen are.
Giant
eyes.
Eyes.
This guy's really big, so you have to crane your camera up to shoot his glowing fuck me light, okay? He shoots explosive shit at you, pretty typical. You can dodge, you can shield, whatever. Okay. He shoots faster as you do more damage. All right, cool. Well, when he starts his second phase, because again, all of these bosses have fucking phases, even though this is a third-person shooter. I don't know. It just seems like they blended too much stuff in there. But like, he starts to like attack you with his tentacles. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? The floor is destructible and it's thin. If you don't move, he punches a hole in the floor and you fall through and die. If you do move, he will probably still hit you and you will take a big chunk of HP, and that's really shitty because the only way you regain HP is by hurting people or when the game decides that a boss drops HP for you to heal. It's a little annoying too. It's one of the many things that you barely have control over.
By the way, I solved that by floating and just dodging left or right, and it actually worked out pretty good.
No, I think that is actually, like, I floated or evaded at the last minute. I tried to shield because I like shield, but shield doesn't...
I don't like shield because when you're shielding, you can do nothing but shield.
It's true. It's good for, like, recharging, and if you get there's a throw upgrade that you can enhance, like, the actual launch ability to throw shit at when the shield runs out.
Mm-hmm.
I expect, Lucky, from what you've said about launch, the game probably is actually really fun and interesting if you max out all the things.
Yeah.
But when you're in baby tier for some of your abilities, they're not very good yet.
Yeah, no, because
I expect if you enjoy shield and max it out, you can probably do fun things with it.
Yeah, no, like...
I understand why you would say you don't like shield. It's like I said, the game is really weird about whether it wants you to be hectic or gradual.
Yeah, it's like having the fucking seize ability. Like, I've put like a little bit of points in most things except melee because, again, I really hate that... I hate how...
Melee is very slow. I've put a couple points in to try and make it effective.
It's stiff. It's stiff.
Probably one of those things you need to fucking max out before it's any good, and it's annoying. I should check how much resource they want for me to just do a full fucking respec.
I think it's like 30k, because I keep thinking about
that right now. I've been doing some side quests for Langtrim to find some things, rubber duckies, flamingos.
They're funny.
Lanterns.
They're funny.
See, this is the really cool bit. This is the part of the game that's really fucking cool. Is like these little like vignette shit. I love it.
Did you play red light, green light with the traffic light?
Yeah, I did. I did the traffic light.
But
it got me the first time, and then I was like, "Oh my god, is it literally red light, green light? Okay, let's go!" Like that shit's really clever and fun. The combat stuff feels a little tacked on.
And then like I say, you do these little things, and then you find the little notes about them, and you're like, "Oh man, this traffic light caused some fucking havoc at a town during the day, at night." But
no, like I was talking about the former. But hey, here's the other thing: he still makes those holes even if you don't get hit.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? If you're looking up at him, if you happen to cross through the same space they made a hole, you fall through a bottomless pit, and then you have to do the whole fucking fight over from the start, including talking to the guy who gets eaten by the fridge. And I was just like, after doing that 4 times, I'm just like, I'm done with this. This isn't fun for anybody. Why is this like this? Like, I don't know why for some of the boss design they felt the need to go that extra fuck you mile. I'm like, what?
No,
Control doesn't feel like a game, like, it's not marketed as a game that's trying to fuck me, right?
No.
Like, I don't think it presents itself as a fuck you game, but it's got some fuck you mechanics in it. And I'm just like, I'm not okay with this.
I think actually the boss I had the most problem with was the anchor. Because this was before
the anchor's fun. I had to stop doing the anchor and get some new abilities and stuff.
Yeah, no, like, the anchor is the point where I said, all right, all in on fucking launch, because I realized shooting my gun does absolute literal dick, and I have to launch things at it. And I'm like, and then...
I mean, it does do stuff, but you gotta, again, this is talking about the fast pace of the grinder. What I did was I used Pierce because you can actually shoot it when it's not looking at you through tiny holes in its back.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I just circled around behind it constantly and kept popping it in the back, but that definitely probably took way longer than what you did, where you just threw fucking clocks at it.
Yeah, no. Also, I love the...
It's also great.
I love the clocks. I think it's so fucking hilarious. Because I like...
so, guys, if you don't know, there's I think it was an altered item, just got a hold of a clock and started replicating it, and they sealed a section, so you go into this section for another quest, and it's just filled with seas of this same old clock over and over again. Like,
yeah, no.
Just, like, hip deep in some rooms, and you're just, like, walking through it, suddenly it's full of clocks. Like, what the fuck?
I think there's a room in Executive somewhere that's just covered in sticky notes, and you can find a correspondence like, guys, an altered item got a hold of my sticky notes, now it's just duplicating endlessly, and I can't work here, so I'm going to work from home. Bye. And you just go into the room, and yes, it's filled with sticky notes. Because, like, listen,
so,
they literally have, like, a bunch of attention to detail. Like, if you go into, like, certain rooms, very rarely do you find, you know, the same cut paste assets and things. Like, in every, like, section you go, they'll have, like, little notes about, like, what's going on in the room and stuff. And it's just,
I appreciate the game has a Metroidvania aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the building, so you can go back to old areas, and the game actually encourages this to you. Like, I realized that I can't finish one of Langstrom's quests because it needs me to go to an area which needs keycard number 6. I'm only on 5. So I'm like,
yeah, you're
okay,
close.
I'll go do some other stuff.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah, I know. I figured I'm close, but I'm like, okay, I'll come back later. The game probably didn't expect me to do all these quests right away. But I was literally hunting for source and for craftables because I was like, fuck, dude, I want the charge gun. I want the boom gun.
It's the greatest thing. Because, let me explain it real quick. So, it's like a grenade launcher. You only get 3 shots, but you can literally... and so, you can fire 1 shot, and it's explosive. Or you can fire all 3 at once, and have a bigger explosive.
And like, I think well, first of all, I love the service weapon. It's a great concept.
I like how they say it might have been Excalibur and other such things in the past. I'm like,
We just think of it as the service weapon now. And also, I like how... I believe the board says this to you. Or maybe Trench does it. Somebody says... you can't be the chosen one unless you're chosen, and I'm like, nah, you're fucking right. That is in fact how that works.
Yeah, you have you have to make the choice to do it.
Yeah, you have to be chosen. You have to choose to pick it up, and it has to choose you. And it's like, no, this is perfect. And I love how Jesse is like, I'm not the director. I'm like, nah, you got the gun, girl. You're the director now. That's how that works.
Yeah, I know, and that's how everyone else believes it. I still love it. How was it Emily? Emily, and so like, you mean the hiss? And she's like, yes, the hiss. That's a great name for it. And it's like, just like that, it's official. And everyone else calls it the hiss.
And that's how everybody names everything down here. And then when you run into people, they're like, the hiss. And I'm like, where'd you find that out? But everybody's just calling it that. I also love, well, first of all, I love Emily's character because she's just brighter and bushy-tailed.
Like, here's the thing, like
at one point you tell her, because you can use the control points to fast travel. They're checkpoints, basically. They're campfires.
Yeah.
So you can use it to fast travel, and you can bring it up to her and be like, hey, is it normal to teleport through control points? And she's like, oh my goodness, no, you can teleport through control points. I have to run some more tests. And you're like, maybe later, I got like a bajillion things to deal with.
No, like if we're gonna talk about characters, I do like the characters because I think they actually represent a good breadth of humanity in government jobs.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job of capturing the fact that you are the Federal Bureau of Control, and like you've got different types. There's like
you have Emily and Ominous, who just seem to be good, decent people. You wouldn't mind hanging out with them. But then you get people like Trench. You're like, Trench, there was something up with you. You're a little bit down this fucking rabbit hole. And same with Darling. Like, you find these things out through like reading correspondence.
Yeah.
And then you meet people like fucking Underhill. I'm just like, oh my god, I cannot.
Yeah, Underhill. And like I dug through some of her dialogue, and at one point she says, oh, I was off base being a professor before they pulled me back. And then Jesse's like, professor, that explains it. Because she does come across that way.
Yeah.
Also, I do appreciate that she's the only person who doesn't know I'm the fucking director, and Jesse just never tells her, and she's kind of an asshole to you. And I'm waiting for the flip at some point, because I bet there'll be one where she finds out, and you're like, oh, sorry, I guess. And Jesse will be like, nah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. There's another great example with the security lady Marshall. I
Yeah.
believe, right? That's Marshall. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a
She's
bad
like
person.
ex-CIA. She is a sassy old black lady, and she is ready to fight some guys with her Lewis gun. You can't have anything new. It's too unstable in the collective unconsciousness, guys.
Well, yeah, the oldest house. I like the fact that they found a supernatural house that hides itself, and they're like, let's move in. And shit's been weird. Like, they have literal posters. It's like, if the house shifts and you're late, you're still late. And you're just like, this totally sounds like some workplace culture bullshit right here.
No, like, it's absolutely got those big, like, cube farm vibes. Yeah. But nah, like I said, the writing is really good. I feel like they cherry picked some mechanics from some other games, and the gameplay does not necessarily reflect the atmosphere of the world, right? Like, you can make it so you could turn on the one-hit kill, which literally anything you do will kill them in one hit. That's what it says it does. But I'm like, if my gun is Excalibur, I don't feel like it. I really don't feel like the service weapon is fucking Excalibur.
I am literally plugging shots into this fucking thing that has a shield. There's a fucking ball of hiss over there that's constantly healing things, and I can't do enough damage to it because it runs the fuck away while these two guys who just lob infinite grenades at me, and I guess what? I've run out of energy.
There's a big chunky boy shooting 3 grenades at a time at me, while 2 rocket boys shoot homing rockets at me, and also I'm being chased by 4 suicide bomber boys, all of whom have shields and are being healed.
I'm just like,
all right.
Okay. I said this is why I have learned to love the charge, because I just blow up everything.
No, like, charge sounds like a really good crowd control. Like, obviously all the gun modes are supposed to do stuff, right? Like, grip is the basic bitch one, and it's still pretty usable, right?
Yeah, I know.
Spin is your rapid fire. They explicitly say do short controlled bursts.
It's useless. I'm telling you, like
it is pretty useless. Like, I've used it a couple for challenges. I switched off it. I thought, oh, this will be cool. It's rapid fire. Oh, I'm out of ammo. It did nothing.
I'm out of ammo. And like, here's the thing. I like the fact that there's technically infinite
ammo, and I missed half my shots.
Yeah, like I appreciate that it's infinite ammo, but having a recharge that might be dependent on how much you shot, kind of sucks. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, which is why I believe that's one of that. So that. Okay, it is one of the options you can adjust for assist mode, but I believe that's why it is, because you can spice that up a little and be like, I want to make it better.
Yeah.
I'm operating, by the way, on 50% everything. I've made damage half of what it is. I recharge energy half as in twice as fast. I think maybe 50% better, and recharge ammo. And I'm like, I can still get my ass kicked because it's not perfect, but it's like, this feels much better. Like, I feel like I'm doing more damage and doing more things to people.
Yeah, I
might being jobbed immediately.
Yeah, like
I don't know, just like if you feel like the game's still kicking you a little bit, just like dial it up a couple notches, see if you like maybe a little bit faster.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm doing okay because like on my personal mods, I have increased health, increased health gain off pickups, and increased energy regen. So I'm usually
that's exactly what my personal mods are.
And like, here's the thing: I might switch it out for like more health stuff, so I can maybe try some of the other fucking things, so I'm not so concerned about staying the fuck alive.
Yes, that is also, I think, why, like I said, damage applied is one of the mods you can adjust in assist mode. So like, the game, like I said, it's really weird. Like, some of the stuff is cool, but also it's annoying. Like Shatter, okay, cool. The service weapon is a shotgun. It's horrifically close ranged and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, like, again, like with Melee, I wish Melee was like, it doesn't have to be like this full system, but instead of wishing of just a one-hit wonder, maybe it was a 3-hit combo.
Yeah,
you know?
oh, yeah, if I just punched or, like, pistol whipped people, that would be way better than, like, I'm gonna charge up my telekinetic falcon punch. Really?
Yeah. Like,
it's slow and it doesn't do nearly enough damage. It does push enemies back and kind of knock them around.
Yeah, but
I have knocked people off ledges, but it's not. I don't know. It's probably designed to break shit off because for some reason everything is destructible. Again,
like why does
cool. It's really cool, guys. It's a really cool system. You did not put enough work into making it actually matter for gameplay besides being a cool thing.
Yeah, why does the Grand Slam literally take all my fucking energy? What am I gonna do when I'm on the ground? Like, I'm usually right next to something at that point. If it isn't died, I'm fucking fucked. This is
I gotta be real. I've only ever ground slammed as a way to basically quick travel. Like, there's a ledge I want to hit.
Like, this is the only time I use melee because you can, from ground pound you can immediately melee, and then as they're staggered you can whoop the fuck out. Because at first I thought, like, okay, this might be a good place to use Shatter, and then I realized it's really hard to aim your Shatter, like, immediately after a fucking ground pound.
No, Shatter is pretty dog shit.
Yeah.
It's a video game shotgun. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the only ones I'm comfortable using most of the time is Grip and Pierce, because, yes, Pierce is a charge-up two-shot attack, but it's
powerful,
strong, it's accurate, and you fucking feel it. Do you know how many windows or low walls I've blown out to get into rooms with Pierce? A lot. Which I do appreciate that because everything is destructible, you can do some interesting pathing stuff. Oh, I can't fit through this door? Let me just blow this wall the fuck up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fun, but it doesn't... Again, it doesn't feel like it matters as much for the gameplay stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like certain aspects of the gameplay were made by different people for a different audience, and I'm like... Because, like I said, it feels really at odds with the deep, really intricate storytelling and atmosphere this game has, right?
Yeah. Like, I think...
This feels like a game that wants me to, like, relax and enjoy it, and then it's like, and now you must fight 4 telekinetic dudes on the ceiling. You can't even throw shit at them. What will you do? And I'm like... Die, I guess. I guess I'll just die, game. Is that what you want from me?
Yeah. God,
And Control is like, yes! Alright, fuck you, Control.
I hate those guys
God
so
mode.
much. I especially hate those guys. Especially with
Yeah,
the
hits
shit.
elevated, they suck butts.
They suck butts. Now,
I found the most accurate way to hit them is to aim at the other one and wait till they're close together. If you're aiming at a guy, he'll dodge. If you're not aiming at that guy, he will not dodge. Bonk.
Yeah, but... Like, something else that
or throw something so huge they can't dodge out of the way. Again,
Like-
I appreciate that you can throw fucking everything. Benches, rocks, bench rocks.
Something I think that, like, I wish was in the game is that... Because, like, when you're doing, like, the lance things, like, you run into a lot of weird shit. And sometimes when you're not doing that, you really bunch it. I wish sometimes those were the items that gave you, like, fucking weird-ass upgrades to your powers instead of you have to buy ability points. Like...
Yeah, if every time I cleansed one of those weird altered items, because Langstrom had me to do like 5, that gave me... Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah,
That would
just
be cool. And
like
rewarding.
like fucking the rubber duck. Like, what if when I got the rubber duck because it teleports, maybe your evade turns into a fucking blink and you just pop over, or
the dead letter one gives you like the ability to like sprint even faster or something.
Yeah, like, you know, double effects. You know, the fucking anchor, maybe it like lets you pick up bigger shit with your launch.
Yeah, I'm actually quite disappointed the anchor only is just a quest reward. I had to fight a fucking terrifying anchor boss.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, like it's a really cool segment, but also it's like, that's it? That's all I get?
Like,
give me ability So I want to point out again, when I turned on the system, they specifically said control is supposed to be challenging but rewarding. I ask you, game developers, what's my fucking reward? I feel good about myself? I don't feel good about myself. I got killed by an anchor like 5 times to get here. Again, maybe I'm just wired differently than some of those, like, you know, super invested in these Dark Souls, like, games. But, like, I don't usually feel rewarded when a game kicks my ass for 5 times. Like,
and then all you get is, like, 2 ability points, if that, sometimes.
I feel more rewarded for a challenge if, like, it's an actual, like...
Upgrade.
Like, if the fight was a puzzle I had to figure out, if it was like, oh, I can't damage the anchor unless I look directly at him as he's about to shoot. But, like, if you actually do that, he just shoots you with clocks. Like, you can't even use shield. It's kind of dumb. Like, there's just, like, you have to, like, shoot and then get away. Woo, move fast, go fast. You gotta be fast. Okay, but, like, everybody in this, like, takes 5 million hits. It's not physically possible to be fast. I don't know. It's like I said... I know what the game designers were going for the gameplay parts. I feel like they may have missed the mark a little.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to play it. Like, if nothing else, like, if I want to just ruse cruise, I can become invincible. I don't think I'll actually play it that way, because that sounds fucking boring.
Yeah, no, like, I haven't, like I said, I found my method of madness through here, as I said, launch and charge, just destroy everything, including yourself if you're not careful. I will say that. Friendly fire is a fucking thing. I have accidentally failed some personnel missions because they were just a little too close. Also, please, give me some smarter friendly AI, please. Jesus fucking Christ. Do not run towards the suicide bombers. Why would you do that?
Yes, AI are dumb. I think, honestly... Maybe it's your fault. Maybe you're the problem, because I feel like when you do actually... Because I've used seize for fun. It's really not worth it. But maybe when you unlock the upgrades that you can seize hiss clusters and they heal you, then it's worth it. But that's not a default setting. I checked. Because I saw that loading game tip, and it was like, oh, that's neat. Can I do that? No, I got to put points in that. Thanks, game. That would be a cool thing to be able to do by default. But no. I don't know. And like we said, it's just it feels like the gameplay part has this weird fetish about being challenging that's not necessary, and is at odds with the intricate, deep storytelling of the game. And I know some people are gonna be like, "But Dark Souls has lots of lore and weird item pickups." This isn't how Control is, though, right? Like Control has a lot of weird, extra atmospheric shit.
And also, Dark Souls lore, I think, don't you actually have to kind of look for it?
Yeah, you have to, like, dig it up, and, like, yes, you have to, like, you can find it in, like, item descriptions, but, like, usually those are, like, out of your way, or you gotta, like, talk to NPCs and stuff.
Hey, who's this?
And it's in loading screens, but it's deliberately designed to be ultra piecemeal. There is not really anything.
My friends,
I'll probably get some flack for this, but I've read a decent amount about Dark Souls lore because it's interesting. There's not actually like a really deep meta plot ongoing in the middle of Dark Souls. Like,
no, you're just a dude here to fight monsters for reasons.
yeah, like there's a lot of cool background lore and history, but mostly it's just like, okay, there's like a zombie plague for some reason, which is why you die but you don't die, and you need to like fill your Dark Soul with light or some shit. I don't care. Like,
yeah, but Control is like you find little stories about incidents that happened outside and stuff, and you know they'll talk about fucking objects they brought back. Guess what? You go to containment, there's a good chance you'll find that fucking item, and then the procedures around that item of how to deal with it. And I'm like,
yes, and also like I said, like they're building a coherent universe. Like I said, this is. So my comparison, but this won't work for everybody, is this is much more like Delta Green shit. Like, I could run a Delta Green game based on this concept very easily.
Oh yeah.
But like this has a coherent universe that has rules. There are rules to like the astral plane and objects being altered and like how they interact with each other. And like, yes, there's a lot of wibbly wobbly in here, but also there's a definite thing of like, okay, this item is just an altered item. It's weird. But it you know, it has its own ritual. It makes sense. This is an object of power. This is like really strong and repeatable. I think Langstrom uses an analogy. Objects of power are hurricanes. They're rare but dangerous, powerful. Altered items are just a regular rainstorm. They're just weird. It rains frogs or whatever. And then he's like, but the hiss are agitating, so they're like a rain of knives, knife rain. And I'm like, good analogy, buddy. Thanks.
Langstrom's
Literally,
weird.
Jesse is like, great analogy, Chief.
Langstrom is weird. I actually read a article talking to him about, because this is one of the things, like, again, about the lore. Langstrom, you know, sitting outside is like, man, maybe we shouldn't be having these weird-ass items locked up like fucking prisoners, because they seem to have a mind of their own, and they don't like it, so maybe if we treat them like the special things they are, they'll calm down a little bit. Because if you treat someone like a prisoner, you can't be upset when they try to escape. I'm like, no, this is fucking fair. And this also draws other, like, interesting parallels to maybe some other things they're doing in the fucking Federal Bureau of Control. I'm like...
Yeah, and you see this because you can read all their correspondence, and all of these are characters who are active in the world, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the thing with Dark Souls is most of your background lore about people is they're explaining the context for why you fought a spooky goo knight as a boss, right? Who was the Knight of Goo? Well, he was once Jord Blag of Lord Blank.
Lord Blank.
He was really cool, but then he touched the Dark Soul and he became really dark.
He became dank.
Listen, like, like I said, don't throw stones. I understand. I actually think there's some cool stuff in Dark Souls. It's mostly background stuff. But, like, Control has this really interesting cohesive narrative with, like, the universe, the characters, everything. And it just seems really weird that the game's default setting is to also kick you in the dick every step of your way through this narrative. I'm like, this is, like talking about 13 Sentinels, for instance. When you boot up 13 Sentinels, it asks you what difficulty you want to put the game on. You could put it on casual and be like, hey, you just want to experience the story. We'll make the fights easy for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't feel like Control prompted me at the start to tell me how hard I wanted it to be. Like, they had the options. I could have probably started with assist mode stuff and didn't.
No, I don't remember any of them. I just remember
there's no like default difficulty slider. So it's like, I feel like it's really weird. There's probably a huge market for this. I know some people really love this game.
Yeah, I know, like, I'm not, like, honestly, I'm not gonna say, like, this game, I feel like some people might have necessarily overhyped this game a little bit to me. Like,
I feel like that, too. Like, I feel like I only ever heard how, like, beautiful and interesting Control was, and nobody else ever bitched about the difficulty to me, and I'm like, that seems really weird, because none of those people I heard this from sounded like they were, like, hardcore, like, Dark Souls roguelike guys. Because, I mean, let's be real. Death is not super punishing. You just lose 10% of your source.
Well, to be fair, though, after you've died like 5 or 6 times the same damn thing, you start feeling that fucking hole.
Yeah, no, you feel the drain, and the other thing is it also has you only spawn at control points, aka bonfire. So like, hey, guess what? If you had to hike for 30 minutes to get to fight a boss, and there wasn't a control point right in front of it, which sometimes there's not, you got to do the whole thing over again. I'm like,
oh god, the fucking flamingo.
The game would benefit from some more casual friendly artifices, like out the gate, like just using checkpoints and like doing some different stuff, like I would be interested if there was a way to do more damage without just turning on one-hit kills, right? Like, and who knows, maybe that was their caveat, was like, oh, it wouldn't be gameplay if the service gun just killed everybody right away, but you could turn that on if you want. I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't sound that challenging. That isn't... The game has a healthy medium point between, like, pushing your teeth in and just being non-interactive, but I feel like it's not at the default, and it's a little weird. It's unusual.
Yeah.
Like for a game like this, and I know we've talked kind of like around like the concept of like making super hard games accessible, but and I think our general opinion was like, well, some games just aren't for everybody,
yeah.
but they can do some things to make them accessible. But if that's their thing, where this is like a really reflex intense game, you gotta like play that way, then like, well, that's the game developer's vision. My problem with Control, I think, is that I'm not sure what the game designer's vision was, because the like really intense, involved narrative aspects make it seem like the really hard gameplay part is not the same vision, but I mean, that's what the game is.
When
so
they look to our example, will they see a people who held
Control is the
fast to
control of
their
Dark Souls, yes.
Or one who cast
Like, I'm still playing it. I haven't gotten so mad at it I want to quit, but it's definitely a game where I've been like, okay, we're taking a break now.
these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer.
Actually, if I can, I was gonna say a D word there, but I don't remember what. If I can split off for a little bit.
I'm listening.
It reminds me of how I feel about Super Mario 3D World.
Oh, really?
Which I've been playing a lot on the Switch, because now obviously they didn't do anything when they put it on the Switch, so it's a game that's like 5 years old, I think, probably. Somebody in chat can maybe know if they're still awake. I don't know. I don't think anybody but Loth has said anything since we started talking about Control, so either they might have all left and died.
Oh, we still got plenty of people listening, it looks like.
Yeah. Are you alive? Anyway, are you still alive, buddy? Nope, Carlos is dead. Okay, confirm. But, so, obviously they didn't revamp the game any. But it's an interesting place because, like, for instance, they call it Super Mario 3D World. Honestly, most of the levels, the only thing that being 3D does is actively hurt you. Like, it only adds an extra dimension where you can fall off shit more easily. Like, it's got a lot of classic Nintendo Mario game design tropes, and I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, it's 2021 Nintendo. I'm kind of fucking over it, but, like, not enough to actually quit playing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I feel like, game design has moved on, and I have moved on as a player a little bit. And to be fair, they've got a really robust system where I think if you die like 5 times in a row on a map, they give you like a special handicap thing. They give you a star Tanuki suit. So you're like, you constantly have a star effect where you're like invincible and enemies can't hurt you, and also you can float infinitely like a Tanuki suit. So it's like, they understand it can be frustrating to play the same level over and over again. But there's definitely some aspects where I'm like, wow, you guys are just still in like 1990 over here with some of these game design tropes of like, yes, we'll put you on the spinny thing and you'll just fall off into the pit. It's Super Mario World, so despite the fact that in the overworld there's definitely a floor, no fucking floors in any of these levels. I'm pretty sure in almost literally every level except maybe all the underground ones, if you are outside, there's a fucking wall you can fall off or jump over. And obviously, it explains the infinite pits in the 2D Marios, but it's still a little weird, right?
Right.
So, like, it does make me feel like Control sometimes, where sometimes I'm like, okay, this is fun, this is cool, we're going through it, and then other times I'm like, I hate this level, I'm never coming back, I need to stop playing for a couple hours. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. And who knows, maybe if Control had come out in, like, 1990 or something, like, I would be like, this is how video games are. but I don't know. It feels like it's doing some interesting things and some not so interesting stuff. But I'm gonna keep playing it. It's free. It was free. It's super cool. Like I've been playing it on the PS5 the entire time, and it looks really neat. And like I don't have any slowdown issues with, despite the fact that everything has physics. Like it's actually like really interesting to watch some of these areas get torn the fuck up. I just wish it actually meant something and mattered.
Usually by those weird ass ball destructing things that just chase you, probably screaming and destroying everything that gets near it. Man, I'm glad I did not run into any of those on the PS4. Fuck.
Yeah, there's something astral.
Yeah,
they're in the astral. But yeah, there are invincible black hole guys who chase you around and yell at you. And at one point, I had to put one back in a box, and that was really frustrating.
That was a puzzle.
It was freaky. Honestly, I don't think for the most part, the puzzles aren't super bad. There are a couple of puzzles where I was like, wait, what? Huh? Like it took me a second to click how it worked. Like those like rotating keypad things where you have to like make the symbol.
Yeah,
that took me a second of like fiddling to be like, oh, okay, I understand now. I still felt like I did a lot of just randomly twirling my thumbsticks to make it click, but like at least that was tactile enough I could understand.
Mm-hmm.
And like some are not. Like actually, I felt the punch card puzzle in Darling's lab, the HRA lab, like that was actually like, okay, no, this is like a classic video game puzzle. Like you've given me all the answers. I just have to look at all of them and piece them together.
Yeah.
And figure it out. And since you don't like explode if you do it wrong, you can actually like test it out. I honestly feel like some of the bosses should have been more puzzly like that, right?
Yeah.
Like rather than be like slugfests where the quote unquote challenge is, oh, you've got him down to 1/3 of his HP. He's gonna do a final phase. He's gonna grow 4 more arms and shoot 4 times as much shit at you. Blah. Okay, cool. Like if it was an actual like puzzle to figure out their mechanics, something more tactical, I would feel like it. But again, like I said, I think
I understand. I think this game relies too much on brute force for a lot of its things.
It has that, like I said, that Dark Souls-like quality where, like, oh, you'll just die and come back at the control point and lose 10% of your cash. You're fine. You can do it forever. To be like, you'll figure this out by doing this boss fight 3 times. And I'm like, I don't want to do this boss fight 3 times. It's not, the mechanics you have put in this boss fight are not fun. Falling in an unlimited pit in the middle of a boss fight is dumb and stupid. And unless it's like a, like, dual boss where we're, like, pushing each other around, it's not really fun. The fact that the former just punches holes in the floor is not cool, especially because, like I said, you have to look up to shoot him in his giant fuck me light, which means you're not looking at the floor, which means you can step in holes. Yes, I know, like, big glowing lights come out of them, but I'm paying attention to the big glowing light coming out of anyway.
Yeah.
It's... It just feels like there's so much attention to detail and everything else, and then the boss fights and, like, some of the combat stuff is just like, I don't know, just throw yourself at these guys and see what works. Whatever, I don't care. And I'm like...
Loud.
I feel like I could use a little more guidance here, game.
Please, thanks.
Like, the abilities are really cool in concept, but like you said, it takes a while to get them going. Like, you cannot throw back rockets and grenades by default. You can't even lift enemies until you get, like, 2 upgrades in, and even then, it says they have to be at lower HP, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I could throw Stormtroopers day 1 in Force Unleashed.
I actually was going to make that comparison myself. It's like, fuck, man. It's like, again, like, evade costs energy, like, the first defensive ability you get, and you have a limit on it. Shield is purely defensive. You can't, like, when you first...
Well, not purely. If you buy the upgrade to throw shit, like, it becomes an offense.
Well, I guess here's again, but, like, I haven't used it much.
But that requires you to invest, you're right.
It requires you to invest. And how far does those fucking rocks go when you fling them out?
I think they're basically as far as a launch. You
really?
Have to aim them up a little because they're like they fire directly in front of you, so you have to like adjust your angle because you know you're not zoomed in, you're shielding, so your like camera's pulled back still. But now they go pretty far.
Okay. Well, like I said, I haven't used it much. Like I think I have the fling upgrade, but I haven't invested a lot of in it. And there's another upgrade later where you can fucking use your evade to do a charge attack. I guess I haven't got that either, but.
That sounds cool, and I understand. Like, I feel like the game developers played a little too much Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Oh, obviously you need a stamina meter, right? And it makes sense. If you could dodge forever, there would probably be almost no challenge in the game, except for maybe those attacks that are unnecessarily homing. Looking at you, giant fungus boss. Have you fought the giant fungus boss, Lucky?
I have defeated the giant. It was actually funny. We cross counted each other and both died, but it counted, so it was fine.
Well, that's nice at least that it did count. But yeah, no, that was a guy who was like, I feel like this is slightly unnecessary. How much homing shit you're shooting at me? This isn't fucking Toho.
And why?
This is not a fucking bullet hell game, except it is.
And yeah, I remember Falling Spores. Again, this is another game that I use by just grabbing things with launch and hucking it.
Well, and the game wants you to do that because the spores in the mold zone fucking exploded. It's great.
Yeah. No,
Pretty cool, except when they
explode on you.
But anyway. Yeah. And I like the subtle, like I said, Metroidvania stuff. Like, what's her face gives you Underhill gives you a pill that makes you immune to the fungus burn. And I'm like, oh, this means I can go back to that one safe room that is full of mold now. Because it burned me before.
I haven't gone there. Actually, I gotta see if I can go to that fucking red room.
Yeah, I still don't know what's up with that one red room down in Central Executive. But like I said, the Metroidvania type shit is cool. Like, you can go back to new places. I've opened chests that I couldn't get to until I got Levitate and stuff. I'm so glad Levitate is both mandatory and infinite. Well, it's not infinite, but it doesn't cost you any energy. But like everything costs resources. Like, yeah, all your defensive options cost resources except cover, which cover doesn't always work, and also cover is all destructible. I haven't found anything in this game that's other than like background walls that's not destructible, right? Nothing you could hide behind isn't destructible on some level. So like even cover is impermanent, and it's like, I don't know, like we've talked a lot about this. We've said it over and over again. The game just has some interesting game design directions that don't necessarily jive with us and feel kind of weird. Like I am wondering, since you said that about launch, that it is if the game is actually like, either it's supposed to be the game where like that's the reward is you do all the stuff and at the end you have all your abilities and you feel like a fucking god. I don't know. Like, is it a game you're supposed to go to New Game Plus and keep all your ability points and start fucking shit up, right?
Let me check. Does Control have a New Game Plus?
I don't know, but if it does, that would probably be a reason to do it so you can keep all your ability points.
Nope, no, does not have a New Game Plus.
Interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I mean, there's probably a way to play the game forever even after you beat it, right? Like, just keep playing either before the final boss or after the final boss, whatever form that takes. It's probably going to be really annoying. But like, I can't tell if it wants you to be like, I'm actually God, or if it wants you to specialize, because it sounds like it wants you to actually specialize. And like, as cool as buying more health sounds, I feel like it hasn't actually helped me do better at the game, because enemies still murder me sometimes.
Yeah, no, I constantly die from... Let's see, what usually kills me?
People throwing shit at me?
Yeah, throwing shit.
Or rockets, I think, are what gets me the most, because those are the homing attacks, basically.
Yeah. Or the super fast attacks, like the fucking elevated, because when they huck shit, they fucking huck it.
Yeah, it's true. That's aimed at you and is not necessarily homing, but it's fucking fast, so it's like, it's... the game, like I said, the game is weirdly designed. There's no, like, rock, paper, scissors. It's just like, hey, are you paying the fuck attention? Did you do it in time? Okay, you're fine. Like, I could see where, like... he shot a rocket. Well, and maybe there is a little bit like, oh, he shot a rocket at you. You should shield to absorb it because you can't dodge it.
Yeah, I know, but...
that guy's throwing shit at you. You should dodge at the last minute to dodge it. Okay, but, like, the windows on a lot of this stuff is very fine, and the game doesn't really teach you any of this. And I feel like that's not actually the answer. It's just, like... The game is a bunch of mechanics that vaguely exist, and a lot of them will eventually get you to the end of the game, kind of thing, right?
And also, I want to say, when you're in mid-combat, there's a lot of things happening. Guess what? Because there's a structural environment, sometimes there's a bunch of fucking shit flying through the air. Like, fuck, man, like, especially when
and also, just this is one thing that does annoy me slightly. I remember this from the Anchor fight, especially, because it was really hard to see its little weak points. The hiss, super cool, right? They're mutated, they're freaky. Why does everything constantly emitting oil smoke like I've entered a fucking smoke shop? It's really, like, okay, I get it. I'm playing on the PS5. It's the Ultimate Edition. You can do cool fog effects. I can't see shit. There's just a pile of concrete on the floor and smoke and some red lights that tell me enemies are there. It's one of those things where it's like, that's a really weird game design decision where you made this smoke effect part of their aesthetic in your beautiful artwork game. Why are you hiding this game from me, guys? Because, like, if you think about it, like, there's so much cool interplay with, like, lighting, right? Like, there's this very distinct way they use the color red to do the hiss.
Blue, if they're talking about a trench, is giving you something from the hotline.
There's the interplay of the black pyramid on the white background for the board, right?
Polaris's little kaleidoscope effect.
Yeah. And like the way that like you can go in a door if it's got that bright green light over it,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's a red light, you're locked out, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really knows how to like draw your eye to certain things, and then you just blow up like 5 concrete pot planters, and then there's just a shitload of dust and rock in the air, and you're like, I can't see anything.
Then you feel fat for the plants. Also, I also love the janitor. I was sus the minute I met him.
I keep waiting for him to turn around and have no face.
Yeah.
They keep talking about him being a friendly face, and then they keep not showing his face, and then they show his face, and I'm like, one of these times he's gonna turn around. That motherfucker's not gonna have a face. Not that Control is a jump scare type game, but it's honestly, Control isn't even we talked about this before when we talked about how it's not actually like SCP. It's not even really a creepypasta type game.
No.
Like, there's not really anything creepy about the fridge. It's just the fridge is fucking psychically active, and if you don't look at it, it will eat you. That's just weird and dangerous.
Yeah, no, they talk about like, you know, like AW, like altered items are just usually just normal things that have just got seeped in psychic, like in fucking alter world things, and do weird shit. And they're not necessarily malicious or benevolent; they just are. And that's one of the cool things I think. It's like as I remember the fridge. The fridge was found because it was weird because it survived somehow a fucking building collapsing. And
I do like the aesthetics they do. Like they do another really good lighting thing when you have to go to the Ocean View Motel. Where, like,
I love the Ocean
switch
View.
in the yellow. Yeah, no, it's really cool. And those are like, I love that this segment you can't pull out your gun. It's all puzzles, but they're not like super brain breaking.
No, and I love that they constantly reference the rule of 3. You have to click it 3 times, and sometimes weird things happen when you click it.
Yeah, I remember when I went to containment, I got a flash of a person's face, and I was like, "Woo!"
Oh, it's like, oh, okay.
Not really a jump scare, but like, wow, that was weird.
Weird shit.
The fucking pink light led me to that flamingo. Like they do a lot of these interesting, like I said, the visual aesthetic's really good. And what they do with the threshold, the fucking Black Rock Quarry, looked really cool. It also had a really fucking annoying like mini horde fight in it that I did not like to set those bombs off, but
I did not like.
It looked really neat.
I really don't understand. Why do these guys get shields and able to fucking do shit at the same time? Fuck.
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm like, there's a shield ability, but we don't get real like zone shields. I don't know. There's a lot of standard psychic powers. I just like I said earlier, I feel like I could do more day 1 of the Force Unleashed than I can in Control, and it's a little annoying. And yes, I get that I'm not Darth Vader's secret apprentice or whatever, but I did find a cool gun in the room with the dead guy. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could be cooler. And maybe I will be cooler. Anyway, like I'm still gonna play it. I like it. It's just these little things they get me. They get me frustrated, and I have to stop sometimes. And I was actually very interested because I know you had said that you were not 100% about the gameplay, but you seemed like you were still mostly okay. I was really interested to see what you thought about it, what you talked about. And I remember yesterday where you were going to be like, "Oh, I bet Omega's got different thoughts than me." It was actually like, I don't actually know. I don't think so.
No, actually, no. We're actually pretty much on the same wavelength because I remember talking about this a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I said I like the aesthetic and story, but this gameplay seems unpolished. And like talking with you now, it's like, yeah, no, definitely, it's unpolished. Like actually, now that I've actually because I've been playing it a lot today and yesterday because I want to actually get like some solid thoughts. It's like, no, I don't like how your ability progression is. I don't like your ability progression. Like, I don't like the third person shooter aspect and the fact that there is no cover and no stealth. Once you are got, they will hunt you relentlessly. So it's hard to actually disengage and re-engage. Like if you leave like the combat area, the fight almost pretty much resets sometimes. I've seen that happen. Yeah. There's been time.
And sometimes it doesn't reset and they just are wandering around to shoot you in the back.
Yeah. So, like, that's inconsistent and weird, so it's really hard for you to, like, you know, catch your breath, reevaluate the situation, and maybe come at it from a different angle. Once you're in the...
Like, I called the control points campfires, but they're not really, because they don't even heal you, right? Like, they don't even reset the map.
Well, they do. Well, I know the
maybe if you cleanse them, but I don't know if I don't think I've ever noticed, but I don't know. I'm
pretty sure. I know for a fact I've seen it at least once, but maybe it was a certain circumstance or not. But so yeah, no. So like you can't really disengage in combat in a room, and there's no stealth. There's no way to like run up on a hiss behind him and just, cleanse them. Because that's something that they show off, like, immediately. Like, Jesse has the ability to cleanse, like, the hiss. So, like, why can't you do that to the hiss guards?
Yeah, that would be a great use of melee if, like, if a guy didn't notice you, like, a melee from behind was, like, an instant kill.
Yeah.
Like, that would be cool. Again, I mentioned, by the way, that it feels a little bit like it's going for the roguelike Dark Souls thing. That's actually another thing. There's no Estus flasks.
Yeah,
you have to kill guys to heal.
Yeah, I know, and that's part number 2. It's like, if you're in a bad way, you have to either go over to where you've killed someone before or kill someone new, which means you have to be out and about and running and exposed to everybody. And it was like, that's not good. That's like, this forces you constantly into a fast-paced combat situation where you gotta basically, ride fast, eat ass, or guess what? Your ass is gonna be grass.
And I feel like behind me, over my shoulder, there's a presence of a smug game developer who's like, that's the point though. You don't have any control, blah. And I'm just like, okay, but your game's not as fun as you think it is.
I guess why this is why I tell the game dev, yeah, I do, and I put the game down and I go the fuck away. Like.
And then he's like, oh, but I worked really hard on that. I'm like, well,
work harder. Fuck.
What do you want from me? You literally, like, and I do think genuinely there are probably some of the, like, high level developers who are like, oh, we can do this, like, really cool fast paced thing. Blah, we'll get them. Blah. And people love Dark Souls, don't they? Bloodborne.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: if you want more fast pace, you actually have to be able to make sure that everything flows really well. Because I will say this: launch into gun, back into launch actually flows pretty damn well together. Like I said, this is the reason why I use it as my main too. I'm able to, dodge back and forth and stuff. But again, I still have to be maintained, because one of the first tooltips they tell me is always be moving. And
if you're not moving, you can be shot.
Yeah.
Which, again, the game rewards that, sure. But like I said, because you can't improve your damage cap yourself, that gets really annoying, because it's like, okay, I'm going to run in circles for 5 hours because these guys just won't fucking die.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like I said, the defensive abilities are weird. Like, you talk good things about Shield, and I guess if I actually invested in it, sure, it might be something. But the way that my gameplay style is, Shield does almost nothing for me. I literally have to stop all my damage endpoint to throw up a shield, and then wander over to a guy.
Well, so interestingly, yeah, I think, because you talked about how clean throw gun throw or launch gun launch feels for you.
Yeah.
I feel actually, like, I've been doing a lot of, like, because I like Pierce a lot because of what it does. I do a lot of, like, big charge, Pierce, that guy's dead, shield. I just pull up shield and kind of duck behind it and circle around guys until my charge comes back, throw shield, pop, shield.
Well, actually, like, fun fact, I think there is actually a mod that, like, you reload faster.
Yeah, there's literally a mod that makes it charge faster for shielding. So, like, the game has these, like, mini gameplay loops in it.
Yeah.
I feel like they did not do a good enough job about making, like, one singular tight gameplay loop to make these little mini loops. Because, like, honestly, I would, if the game was just like, hey, if you're out of ammo, just throw shit at people. Like, if that was an explicit lesson taught to me, I probably would have gone ham on launch earlier, and I'd probably be having a similar experience to you. And I feel like that's an okay thing.
Yeah.
Like, similarly, if the game was like, was more explicit to you about how you can do some interesting shield strats, you'd probably be about shield, because it's not a bad concept. It's just, it's a little clunky with the way we do stuff.
Yeah.
If Power Slam didn't suck up all your energy, and maybe after some upgrades it, like, does less energy, or it does, like, a bigger radius, I expect both of us would probably be doing, sure, I'll fly up into the air and then fucking power land on them, like it's fucking Mass Effect 2 and I'm a biotic charge character.
Well, I did. Did you deal with the mirror?
I have not gotten to a mirror yet.
Where was the mirror? I think it's in research. There's a pretty wild fight. I think it's in research where you have to deal with the mirror. I don't want to spoil it for you because it's kind of wild.
There are a lot of interesting fights. Like, some of them are bullshit, but some of them are actually, like, these, like, astral plane challenges and stuff are actually, like, really interesting. But yeah, no, there's some. I'm gonna type you a name in Patreon, because this is the name of the boss. Ooh, I love it. That's gonna be fun. But like I said, this biotic charge type thing, that would be cool if that could be a reliable source, but it uses up all your fucking energy, so you can't evade. What are you supposed to do if it fails, right?
Yeah.
Like, same with Seize. There are mods to make Seize go factor, just Seize stronger enemies. Seize requires enemies to be hurt first, so you can't ever start by seizing. You have to, like, shoot, then stop everything to seize that guy.
I
go
do.
hide while he does your dirty work.
I appreciate that I can still move while I'm seizing.
Yeah,
If
no,
I
Seize is not as bad as it could be, but I feel like everything at its basic level feels a little undercooked, as a phrase we like to use. And I'm glad that it sounds like, from what you said, like even launch, I feel like, is a little clunky at basic level.
Yeah, but no, once you go ham on it, it's all like I'm like I said, actually, now that I've like maxed out launch, I'm like, oh, what do I want to spend my new points on? Because I have maxed out.
Well, and honestly, from what you're saying, then it sounds to me like, oh wait, I bet if you go ham on anything, it's probably really, really good. But man, you got to do a lot of work to go ham, though. Like I said, you can't just grind ability points. You got to like go out and do quests, and sometimes you go to quests in new areas where enemies are like 3 levels higher than the last area, and they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, it sucks. It sucks. Oh,
yeah,
God.
so it's like I don't know. The game is good, and I think it'll be interesting to get our actual like complete thoughts on everything when we're done with it, because I'm sure we'll beat it unless it gets like really dumb. Well, Hal, I will probably get far enough in this game that even if the last stretch is like super dumb, I'll probably be like, fuck you, you gave me God mode. I'll just turn all the buttons on and be like, fuck you, just to finish it. That probably won't be as fun as doing it other ways, but like, so we'll probably complete the game and actually like talk about like how overall it feels, and maybe the game is supposed to make us feel like a weak little baby now, and so we feel cool later. But God, it's frustrating to be a weak little baby in this world, because these hiss guys, as far as I can tell, are just supposed to be mooks. They're just guys. They're my guys. They're my guys who've been taken over by a weird angry voice thing. It doesn't like head runs or something. Still haven't cracked that one.
Wait, what you haven't cracked yet?
Hedrons. I know they're a thing and they have resonance, but I don't think if the game tells me what they do, I don't think.
I haven't figured it out yet. Or, like I said,
I'm sure it'll be something like horrifying later.
No, like I said, like the game is doing something of setting something weird up, because you don't have all the answers, and the game is only giving them out to you very, very slowly. And right. I actually think it's one of its strengths, because, as I said, you find all these little things and you understand how the underpinnings of things work, and you understand how the FDC works as a whole. Like right now, I'm in an optional mission that seems to be based off the Alan Wake, because this is the same people who made Alan Wake, and there are references to it earlier. But I'm in a place down called an Investigations. It's dark. It was basically an underfunded system where they didn't have enough fucking people, and people started walking out, and things are starting to slowly fall apart in the borough, and you're finding out that fucking Darling and Trent were maybe going a little mad for reasons after the fucking Ordinary event, and you're just like, So you're slowly getting things like hand-fed information that maybe shit is a little bit has been fucked up for a little bit longer than they would like to admit. And it's like, yeah, honestly, like I said, I'm not in this for the gameplay. I have found my strategy. I will continue to use it. I do not relish going into a fight, but I'll fucking do it because I want to go read that fucking little fucking portfolio on the floor I see over there.
Yeah. And sorry, big yawn.
Big yawn.
We're gonna wrap up soon, I think. Yeah, it's because it's after 11, and I want to play some more Control tonight anyway. And we're coming up on 3 hours. We've been yelling about Control for like 2 hours.
Good job, us.
And this is one thing I'll say. Like, they're not always fun, but they are. There is always at least a very. I feel like there's a variety of enemy design, right? Like, there's basic bitch hiss guards. There's the hiss guys who shoot rockets for some fucking reason, even though they have rifles. What the fuck, game? That's not how that works. That's okay. All the game designers are like Swedish or something, so they've probably never seen a rocket launcher or a gun in their life.
But it looks like they might be. I know we say rocket launcher, but it looks like they're actually grenade rifles, I think.
I mean, like, in design term, yeah, but here's the thing. If they're using deliberately old tech, unless for some reason the hiss make them homing, which, I mean, it doesn't really... That's plausible, but it doesn't look like that. Like, they're not glowing red and spewing that kind of smoke out, right? That's not like World War II technology. Homing rockets is like a Vietnam at the earliest thing, and radar-guided missiles were really shitty for quite a few years. Like, everything's supposed to be like super retro, but also like they fire the big trooper boys fire 3 grenades really fast for some reason sometimes. But like they have a lot of variety in the enemies. They do different stuff. You got the snipers who like do the slow thing, you know. Elevated are a little annoying because they're fucking floating, but they copy your TK ability, so it's kind of interesting. They have the suicide bomber guys who are actually like really intimidating because they come right at you and you're like, fuck, get away from me.
And they're screeching, and they're like fucking... they're all contorted and super fucking red.
And then there's the other mini boss type besides the trooper, the like I don't remember what they're called, but they're like they're on the ground, but they have like a telekinetic shield. They're basically shield enemies. Like they pull up junk and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know they're big boys. Again, the launch fucking gun combo is great because I think the things that
tear down their shield.
Yeah. I think the thing that actually spooks me the most is the fucking camouflage enemy that looks like fucking some weird ass angel or something.
Yeah, I was gonna just talk about that. That one actually is one of the ones I think where shield was deliberately designed for, because I got around that guy in Blackrock by being like, okay, I'm gonna pull up a shield, wait till he pops out, and then throw my shit at him and shoot him, and it worked. But they're like, that's another interesting enemy type. They're like camouflaged or teleporting. They will like disappear, shoot some beams at you, and then come back and then go away. Like it's.
I find
there's
it
actually some interesting concepts here.
Doesn't know what she is, eh?
I do like apparently they cannot attack and be invisible at the same time, so you have to like yeah, it's great. Like again, I love the little things.
Yeah, there's a lot of little effort put into the game. It feels like some of that effort was not put into tightening. At least not for them to put the effort to tighten the core gameplay, right? Like, because the system mode is, like I said, it's modular. It's got dials you can adjust. I feel like maybe they got a little lazy and were just like, the player will find out how much assist they want. You know, and it's a cool concept. I think more games, honestly, should let you actually, like, set your own handicap rather than just be like, baby mode, kick your dick mode. Like, okay. You know, variables are cool, but it does kind of feel like the core gameplay is not as balanced or fun as it could be, and you're making me like decide how much I want to go for it. You know. But yeah, I think we've reiterated our points enough. We can probably wrap up. Let's see. Is there anything else to talk about?
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling it. Like I've been chipping away at some 4X stuff, but not anything big. Just entering like items. Done some fun stuff. Added a backpack.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't.
I mean, we done some of it. We talked about it way earlier. I'm not super deep in the event, and I haven't checked on my ships yet today. I will have to. But we're doing it. Lucky, I think got like 4 of the ships.
Yeah. No, 3. Yeah.
3. Yeah. Okay. We're doing it. What you want some kind of deep commentary? It's Azur Lane. They yell at us to go fight stuff and shoot things and look at titties. It's not very deep.
People are fucking dicks. Sorry, I'm watching this. I'm watching this Final Fantasy cutscene where this one character who's been super fucking hated this entire game because she's apparently a traitor to her own people. Just watched her fucking dad get fucking stoned to death by these people who hate her because they're traitors. And I'm like, yeah, what do you expect this girl to like all of a sudden become a resistance fighter when she just watched the people who's supposed to be resistant kill her father? Fuck you, people. Monsters. God, man, sorry. Final Fantasy XIV has some really good storytelling, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, you are not subtle.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, there are a lot of Final Fantasy games that are written that way, where it's like, here is the point, let me strike you with it. Okay, all right, I got it. As I lie flattened on the floor, I got it square. And then sometimes you don't understand what the fuck the story, other than light. 7 was a very unsubtle, and still is a very unsubtle metaphor about environmentalism, though, and I think it's good. Like, here's the thing: in 1997, and now in 2020, when the remake came out, nothing really changed about that bit about the environment. I think ultimately, so I think it still matters. Can you hear the planet crying out in pain? Yes, Barrett. Yes. It's not me though. It's the President Shinras of the world we got to worry about.
Better than a common savage.
Though I don't think we're yet at a point where we need to start blowing up any Mako reactor.
Am I though, Mother?
Anyway. Okay, we don't have anything else. I think we should wind down.
Citizenship.
I can go get some snacks. Go try some control. Maybe I can find that mirror.
So I'll play the part.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the jobbiest of? It's me. I job.
Ansfred,
I get bodied by weird things that have no purpose bodying me, since apparently I'm super cool
It'll be
because I can
hard.
solve
Humiliating.
altered items real fast.
They'll try to break.
It's like okay. I have one final thought. I think that ultimately underlines all of this. The game makes it sound like we're a real cool guy who does cool stuff, right? Like everybody's like, "Oh, you're the director. Oh, you have a special talent. Oh, nobody's been able to do that before." The actual gameplay doesn't make you feel like that. The gameplay makes you feel like a tiny baby child with a pop gun.
Like, honestly, they actually mentioned this. Because you're not the only person who's been able to use the object powers, like, specifically with the floppy disk. People talk about how they're able to throw things for fucking, you know, a foot, maybe, like, a meter. And you're literally hawking these things at terminal velocities and, like, taking people's heads off with them. And
Yeah,
yet,
that's I think that was a bit of ambient dialogue I heard back in Central Executive, where like two researchers were like, "Hey, can you hear the new director can launch items over 5 meters?" And they're like, "Bullshit, no way." He's like, "No, I saw it with my own eyes," and I'm like, I mean, I can throw shit pretty far,
But guess what? You go to find out with any elevated hiss, and they're throwing multiple things, and I'm pretty sure there might be a sonic boom involved or something. And I'm just all like, yeah, okay, I'm not as hot shit as I thought I'd be. Thanks.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know they have to make your enemies competitive to you, but it's still Again, it feels like there's that slight disconnect between the story is telling you you're a cool guy who doesn't afraid of anything, but if you wander out into a hallway full of hiss, they will just literally gun you down with bullets and you die. And I'm like, okay, I'm dead. That was fun. Thanks, game.
Yep.
Larg. Polaris, take 10% of my source. Reset me. Take me back. All right, we're going to wrap up, though.
Let's wrap up.
So we can play more Control. Lucky we'll actually probably keep playing Final Fantasy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, lots of waiting on me. We're going to go do some grinding.
All right, well, you'll have fun with that. So, if you're watching this video on YouTube as part of your daily grind, be sure to give us a like if you like this episode. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. You can also hit us up on our Discord. That link is always in the description. You can come out and hang out with people and yell about Pokemon, or maybe play Final Fantasy XIV with people.
I said shut up!
You can also subscribe to us if you're new and haven't already to always get more videos like this. Get more What's Up, get more Let's Talk, you know, all the other stuff we do on our channel. And of course, even if you're already subscribed, make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. And you can also join our channel memberships. Click that join button or click that link below in the description. And of course, like we said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. And they are guaranteed to not come on cassette tape and also are not creepy calliope music, like whatever's going on with those weird puppet shows in Control that I don't like.
Threshold kids, they're intentionally made to be creepy.
But yeah, so support us on Patreon. It helps us out, and you can get access to stuff early and fun stuff. So we will see you guys next week for more What's Up. We'll be done with Control. Will Omega have actually played Persona 5 Strikers? Who knows?
They've done to you. Lies.
That's all I got. That's another thing.
Betrayal.
Yeah,
All right, let's go.
The
Let's go. We out.
endless fighting.